Hello, guys. Welcome back to our Week 7 edition of the JLML podcast. I'm joined this week with, I believe, his fourth consecutive week here, Mr. Smell. And joining us again, Emeric.
Yes.
We're going to have a really fun show tonight, talking about some of these matchups that weren't particularly close, but everybody on here did their best this week. But we'll start with Smell. How was your week playing against Hen?
Oh, fuck that, man. I'll tell a story when we get to talking about him. But this is my fifth week. I'm like Booker T over here, like five times. Five times. I'm gonna do a spin a Rooney here in a second, man.
All right. Well, my bad. I lost count. I always forget what
I'll do a
week we're
spin
on
a
at.
Rooney for all of your fan cash dollars.
No.
Fan cash dollars.
Hey, for those that don't know, I just made a killing on fan cash today. I have 750 fan cash that I'm about to spend after this podcast. You'll see the results very soon, I'm sure. But Emeric, how are we doing?
I love catching the wave with Smeller because I remember right when we put that up, I'm like, dude, Booker T 5-time, but off a win this week. Huge week coming up this week, so happy to talk ball. A lot of interesting deals made during the week too. Another week, man, just getting closer and closer to almost the halfway point.
It's ridiculous to think about that, but all right, we're gonna get this going. We're gonna rip the Band-Aid off and start with Smell. 833 to 598. Loss to the Clearwater Beach Dogs, and Hen Dog seems to be unstoppable. So, Smell, what are your thoughts?
All right, so I'm old. Everybody knows I'm old, but everybody's seen the Rocky franchise, right? We've all seen it, like all the Rocky movies, right? So how many of you haven't seen a Rocky movie? Best one's Rocky 4, right? With the Russians, the Drago. And everybody's like, what the fuck are you talking about, Smell? Why are you talking about Rocky
right now? If
he
dies, he dies.
Well,
yes.
That's part of it. What I was thinking when I'm looking at my matchup, I had a lead early in the week, right? And what I picture is Drago just getting punched in the face, right? And he's like, just like getting punched, and then all of a sudden his coach is like, crush, and then all of a sudden he just like murders everybody, right? I felt like that's what Hen did to me. Like, he was Drago this week. He's like, okay, Rocky, go ahead, get a few punches in. Have a lead on Tuesday. Have a lead on Wednesday. That's fucking cute. And then I'm going to beat you by 300. So, I mean, it was just absolutely insane. It's like, of all weeks for Sanchez to have a complete game shutout against me, why does he need that? He clearly didn't need that. So it's just, I said last week on the pod, Hen needs to have a down week for me to have a chance. Hen had absolutely the opposite of a down week. I think it's the second highest scoring week of the season. And when you look at, he has multiple pitchers in the 70s. He has Christopher Sanchez with the 79-point start, the complete game shutout. He had Zach Wheeler 78 points on a 2-start week. What's funny, and I mean, as bad as this sucks, I was over 600 points a minute ago. I'm like, all right, cool. At least I broke 600, and then Kirby went terrorist mode on me, so I'm gonna finish it at like 592 probably, unless the Mariners keep this comeback going. But as we sit, what's funny is, I was looking at my team. I'm like, all right, so what went right? And I'm like, man, not a damn fucking thing. I didn't have a single bet go over 50 points, yet I was still able to get to 315, which is okay. And I will say the only thing that went right was that I mean, my pitching, I only had 2 negative starts, but that said, I had a lot of shitty ones. And comparing that to fucking Hen's team with 40 points from Andre Palante, 2 starts, Joe Ryan, 31. I mean, just like up and down, 30, 40, 70, 70. It's like, can't compete with it, His bats had 390. Schwarber with a 69-point week. J-Ram had a 57-point week. I mean, it's nobody could beat Hen this week. So I'm not sitting there like beating myself up that, I didn't hang. I wish I would have been. I'm over 600 again. Something must have happened, but I'm gonna lose 6 points, so I'll finish at 595. I still have bats going. That's why. So yeah, I'm right now just fueling up. I've got Chad next week. We'll talk about that a little bit later. That's gonna be a fun matchup. Chad and I both started pretty hot this season. He was top 3, top 4 in scoring the first several weeks. He hasn't been the last several. I started off 3-0. I've now gone 0-4 the last 4. So really looking forward to next week. But yeah, this one against Hen, it was like I said, it was Rocky 4 the whole time. And so now I feel like when I face Hen the next time, I got to come back as Rocky and destroy Drago and earn the respect of the USSR.
I like that analogy. That's really great stuff. Emeric, you want to add to that?
Yeah, no, I mean, Snell, that was his matchup. He said a lot. Oh, he's got 3 more points for some reason. You're at 601 as we speak. Like
I
you
think
said, some
Tatis did
highs, some lows
something.
with your team. Like Matt Gore, got to be very encouraged. A huge bounce back. I saw 40. Soroka 64. He had some low ones too. Gilbert, Kirby with that blow up today, like you said. But I mean, really, it's a story of how dominant Hen's team is. 833, and like you said, you combine the Philly starts. He has like 200 points on like 4 starts between Luzardo, Sanchez, and the double wheeler, I believe. The bullpen, Senzatella and Killian, providing almost 60 points in SP reliever spots. I mean, Hen's team's a force right now. There's no stopping it. If I were to ask you guys, what line would you set on when Hen loses his first game? What week would you say? I don't know. I'd say probably like week 13.
He
That's
doesn't
what
play me again, man. He might not lose ever.
Who's
I'm just
beating him?
kidding.
He might
Cody
go
plays
20
him
and 0.
next week, dude. Cody plays him next week. If there's the time to
I
do
think
it, it's
so.
now, I guess. But even he outscored Cody by over 100 this week, and Cody put up a good number this week. We'll talk about that in a minute. But, yeah, I don't know.
Cody is the second highest scoring team, and he beat Cody by almost 100.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
I mean, we've been talking for weeks. If you keep it within 100 against Hen, that's a great. Only one team was within 100 this week out of 13 other teams.
Yeah.
I think we need to break up his team and have a Rule 5 draft just of Hen's team.
Well, maybe then John Haidt will get a pitcher, starting pitcher. Well, I mean, you guys hit everything I was going to say pretty much. But, I mean, Smell, you said what went right for your team, and you said nothing. I mean, you got 72 bullpen points. That's pretty good. I mean, I know it doesn't mean anything right now, but, I mean, if you do that again, you're going to need that against Chad next week. So maybe these guys pick it up, I guess, keep it up. But, yeah, I mean, you guys touched on everything, those top performers for Hen.
One thing I want to say though is that, I mean, what's interesting, and I mean, for us moving forward, I mean, this might be better to talk about it when we talk about future matchups and that. But when you look at Hen's bats, they've been declining like weekly. They've settled in. He was at 531 several weeks back, and now he's been this was his lowest week of the past 5 weeks. He's at 390. It's the first time he hasn't broken 400 for as far back as I looked. So as great as his bats are, that might be a place where he's starting to become a little bit vulnerable somehow. I don't know how with 69 from Schwarber, but he seems to be averaging right around 400 in bat points and bats. So it's really going to go as his pitching goes, because this was his second highest pitching week. If his pitching goes back to those like low 300s, high 200s, he could be beatable.
I don't know. I'm not buying that with the bats. I mean, everybody that I'm looking at here is just littered with over 30s and some high 40s.
Shout out Matt Olson, he still puts up about 400. I know Schwarber.
390 this week though. At 390 last week, 419, 404,
405. 390 is an elite bat number though. We'd be all thrilled to have 390 hitting points. So I mean, it's insane. But props to Hen. We'll see what happens next week against Cody. We'll break that down a little more. But Emeric, let's go to you and talk to you about your matchup against Nick.
Yeah, I mean, it was it felt good on Monday. I think I won the day by like 60. I kind of just held it from there. Nick had a really big Thursday. I think he had scoring by about 80 or 90 on Thursday. That was the only part I was like sweating a little bit, but it was good to get that early lead and kind of hold it. Nothing crazy with my bats besides the boy, Luis Arias, 2 dingers this weekend. I mean, 72 points leading the way for the bats. Nothing else really crazy. I mean, a bunch of 30s. Xavier Edwards in the 40s. That's what he's been doing. A couple guys in the 20s. 372. Nothing crazy. I'll take that. But I feel like my pitching honestly really stepped up this week. Once Giolito should get the win, right? I think he's got like 13 today, or he's got 11. Yeah, they hold the lead. I'll beat it over 280, which for my staff, like I'll take that. I think I would have went 7-3 on the week with my arms. So, over 650, I'll take it, and especially with nothing really outlierishly crazy in my opinion. So felt good to take the lead, pretty stress free. Nick had some blowups with his arms. I mean, only 115 pitching points, so giving me some back there felt nice. But yeah, good momentum going into next week. Felt good holding that win.
God, man, he got negative 18 from Simeon's Wood Richardson, man. When is this guy just going to get yeeted? He's just the ultra mega terrorist, this dude. Just fuck.
Mount Rushmore terrorist, I'd say, right? Like,
yeah, it's got to be.
way.
He's got like only 3 positive starts all season, I think,
That's what I'm
right?
saying. How many teams has he been on in this league so far in the last 7 weeks, and how many of them have he actually recorded positive points for? I wonder.
I mean, the
Like-
last outside of the game, he dropped 25, 3, -7, -10, 6, -8, -6, 1, -18.
God, man, he's just terrible.
The net-
I can't even believe that, man. I mean, yeah, you said a lot of what I was going to say, and we're just about the top performers. A lot of these guys, I have Xavier Edwards in 30, man. He's just a baller. I love him. He's great. But I mean, your Mariners again, Emeric, 6 points from Cal Raleigh. What are we going to do here? Like, that's just it's.
Carson Kelly put up 20, and that's more than I've gotten from Raleigh last 2 weeks. Because Raleigh,
That's what
I
I'm
think, only had
saying.
2
Like,
games in his defense. Also, I'm looking at Woods Richardson. I don't know if you noticed, he is negative on the year, -14 points. Little funny bit.
God.
But yeah, I mean, Naylor stepped up. J Rod had an all right week, but him and Naylor have been much better the last basically month. But
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
Raleigh, the narrative I'll hope is his oblique's been bothering him. It's been lagging. They're finally like, all right, we just got to put you on IL, let you rest up, and come back.
Yeah. But see, I remember when I was telling you about this last week about when I was playing Nick, and there were a couple pain in the ass players here, like Jake Bowers at 36 points, dude. That's really annoying. Like I'm telling you, Mark Vientos 38, J.P. Crawford 52. Like went toe for toe with you on bats. Like you only lost by 50 bat points, just about. So yeah. Smell. What do you think? Anything to add?
Yeah, so I mean, Nick and the family Bin Laden that he's got over here, what we were talking about with all the terrorists. I mean, his bats are like exactly what you're talking about. His bats week over week over week just keep improving. He's still, he's been in the high 200s, low 300s every week, but every week for the past 5 weeks, his bats have put up a little bit more, put up a little bit more, put up a little bit more. Meanwhile, his pitching just keeps going down, down, down. His pitching, this was his worst pitching performance. Now he's got some dogs. I mean, Zebby putting up 38 in a random, call up start week. I mean, that was kind of crazy. But Peyton Toll, again, he's looking like he's the truth. 33 points out of him. But Bubba Chandler, like, what's wrong with him? Right. I mean, I hated moving him in the offseason. Like, I thought he was going to be like my ace of my squad. And then something off season, like him, and I had, you might remember in the offseason, I had 5 of the pitchers for the Twins. 3 of them or 2 of them had starting spots, and 3 of them were possible. Yeah. And SWR was one of them. So I was happy to get rid of him. But yeah, I mean, Nick's team, his bats are kind of like just quietly assassinating people. Like both the Crawfords did all right. Caglione only had 19 points, but he's doing all right there. But yeah, I mean, for the Peckers, I mean, it was a good week. 648. It's going to win you. It's good. It's going to win you a lot of weeks, but it's also going to cause you heartbreaks a lot of weeks, like it did last week for me against Paul. But getting like 44 points out of Drew Rasmussen in 2 start week, I can speak. He's somebody who I think is wildly underrated, or undervalued, maybe is probably the better way of putting it, right? I mean, he's somebody that just gets points like all the time. Graham Ashcraft, he sucked and he went negative for you. So I mean, he's kind of like if you roll Graham Ashcraft out there, you get what you deserve by playing him. But the bats almost 400, and that's with Vargas only getting 26 points. Vargas is finally starting to cool off a little bit. But yeah, like I thought things might turn around, like what you were saying, on Thursday. All of a sudden, like Nick puts up 99 or 100 points on Thursday, which is like 20% of his entire week, right? And that was the Zebby start day. I'm like, I think you only put up like 18 points or something. I'm like, oh shit, like, are we going to see a turnaround here? Like, is Nick all of a sudden going to come back on the weekend and we have a different story? But yeah, I mean, your team, and now you called up AJ Ewing too, who I know everybody's been, crawling up your butt wanting to get, including me kind of jokingly. But I mean, if you want to throw them to me, I'll take them. But your team continues to roll, right? I mean, and that's with great players not getting great points. J Rod 32 points, pedestrian. So Nito 29 points, pedestrian. You're a team to watch out for. You had a good week.
Appreciate that. Also want to highlight, I did bench Vargas when he had an 18-point day, so he did have over 40 this week. I just did him an idiot the one day. Where the propaganda is still being pushed. But yeah, Rasmussen, you and I bonded. What was it? Pitcher Report had him stupid high, I think it was. Was that website? Had him like the 20s. I remember I was talking about that in the preseason, but
yeah,
it's kind words about the squad.
I know that's Cody's favorite website, Pitcher List or whatever.
Yes, pitcher list. Yeah, not pitcher.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to switch gears to my matchup against Jack. I beat him 655 to 465. I have some stories about this one because I actually got to see Jack this week for the first time in a little bit. Hen Dog actually came up from Georgia to come hang out with us. Went to Buffalo Wild Wings, got some bottomless apps on Tuesday night, and we were monitoring, the score on our phones and everything. And I was just like, hey, Bailey over, complete game shutout through 6, through 7, through 8. And I'm like, all right. I asked the bartender to put on the Twins and Marlins game, and the guy looked at me like I had 5 heads. But I was laughing the whole time. And they asked the people at the bar if they could change the NBA playoffs to put on Bailey over. And I'm like, I was like, please don't change Wembanyama against the Timberwolves to put on Bailey over. But they did. They didn't listen to me. And I was just going crazy when he actually pulled that off. And it was ridiculous. And Jack's just like, where the fuck is my beer? And it finally showed up. And he's just like, I can't believe that happened. It's just ridiculous. But I know I was getting clowned on it for saying it was a top 5 baseball moment in my life. Top 5 fantasy baseball moment. Fine. I can say that. Bailey over threw a complete game shutout with me, Hen, and Jack in the same booth, and it was awesome. But in addition to that, TJ Rumfield, 42 points. Everybody says he's a meme. He's not. He's legit. I love him. Ryan Jeffers, 44 points. Love him too. We talk about how much value the catcher position has to outscore your opponent, putting up significant points at catcher. That's good. Murakami, 2 bombs, 47 points, even though he did basically nothing for most of the week and got 29 in one day. I don't care. It's still awesome. What do you call it? 342 pitching points. Love it. Everybody was good except Noah Schultz. Again, I hope that doesn't become a recurring theme because I really like Noah Schultz. I got rid of Terrorist Gallon this week. I think everything was fine. It was kind of wrapped up by Tuesday night after that complete game shutout. And I'm glad, and kind of like you, Emeric, I'm glad I kind of held on, didn't get anything too close. But that being said, Jack's got a good team and he's got some reinforcements coming. So I'm glad I caught him when I did. But Smell, what do you think about this matchup here?
Yeah, so I mean, have you looked? I mean, I know we've all looked, but do you know where you rank for your arms for the week?
Out of the rest of the league, no.
Third.
Third?
Right? Golden Arms. You had a Golden Arms week. You know where your bats ranked this week?
Bottom half, probably what?
On 3. So
3?
your top bottom 3.
Oh, bottom 3. I was gonna say, yeah.
So your top 3 in your arms, your bottom 3 in your bats. So as world saving as Murakami is, the rest of the bats really kind of like let you down a little bit, but you still had a great week. I mean, again, imagine you versus Emeric this week. It would have been a Sunday night nail biter. You guys were both
I would have lost
right
to
there.
Tita by 5 points.
Yeah. And we can talk about Bailey over. That complete game shutout, awesome. Riding that wave of momentum, right? Riding that amazing wave of momentum, 9 points in his next outing. It's like, all right, cool. So, and I can't really say shit. What, 2 years ago when I had that, I have a random perfect game get thrown against Tita, and,
Domingo Herman, yeah.
Yeah, and then Domingo Vermont just disappeared for the rest of his life. But Jack's got some reinforcements coming. I mean, he got 55 points out of pulled pork, this week. So, I mean,
he was great. He was great.
Yeah, is he back? I don't think so. We'll see what happens with him, but he's got some guys coming back. His bats obviously letting him down. His arms are all on the injured list. And your team did kind of like what we expected to do. You didn't talk about Cam Schlittler. He had 44 points in his start for you, which was
too many guys to mention, man. 43 for Mizio.
Let's go down the list. 30 players, right?
Yeah, I know. 39 for Spencer Arrighetti, dude. Like, we gotta mention them all. Michael McGreevy, another quality start. Like, who can we not touch on here? It's great.
I mean, you got 20 points out of Slade Sassoni, and he only went 4 innings. So, I mean,
that was wonderful, by the way. I was so scared to start him because I traded him for Emeric for a worst ode, which I have yet to pay. I've been trying. every deal I've made in the last week here,
rush,
Emeric, I was
man.
like,
No
I need a
rush.
worst in there to pay Emeric, and Tito's like, nah, not gonna
I think
do
you
it.
owe me
And he
2
just,
right now, right?
I do? I don't think so. I thought it was only one.
There's only one. I forget. I don't know why I think
I
it
don't
was
have a lot of debt. I
Yeah.
think I'm only at one, but
But
we'll see. I'll check them when we get to deals.
But when we're looking at everything, you know, in the aggregate, you know, it's little things that kind of work that win. You know, on the plus side for Jack, he had 7 steals. On the downside, he had 8 grounded to double plays. You know, which is kind of crazy. You had only 2 of each. You know, so it was a little bit of a wash for you. But your team somehow managed to get 3 triples. You had 8 home runs, only 2 of them for Murakami. That should be 8 for Murakami. So what's the
I
rest of your
know.
team?
What is he
You know,
doing?
so
Need more out of
yeah.
him.
But yeah, no, it's a good win for you. I mean, you're the second place Larks now, right? You know, from worst to almost first. We'll call you first if your name's not Hent, right? You know,
Well, it's first
um,
in my division. I'll take it. It's a 2
yeah,
seed.
yeah. So we have
So
Big Dick Ryan and Big Dick Bracton, right? Is what.
yeah, let's do it.
All
Hey
right,
man,
but no,
I'm calling it now. I'm going for a run, man. I got Tita, Jab, Nick, and somebody else that I thought I was looking at.
Jab's
I
gonna
might
humble
I
you.
might not lose for a month, guys. Get ready.
Jab's gonna humble
Be
you.
insufferable.
First Jab's gonna be game of the week.
No, he's not.
Jab's gonna beat you.
Paul
Calling it
fucked
now.
up. I can't believe it. Paul and Cody letting down my narratives here. It's 2 out of 3 of Jab's wins are against the LMs, not me. All right. Well, fine. Let's talk about Jab and Paul. I'll reserve my thoughts for last. Emmer can go first on this one.
Okay. Couple things I just want to say real quick. You owe me for the Brandon Marsh deal. That's what it was. I went.
That's what I was saying. Yeah,
There's
that
another
one.
one.
Oh
Also,
shoot, that is 2. You're right. My
I
bad.
didn't touch on this game. Just 2 quick things I want to say on both behalves. Jack's team's be very interesting what happens going forward with Byron Buxton getting hurt, and he dealt Freddie Freeman this week. So just his bats this week, putting up about 200, hitting about 200 itself. You know, because this team has a lot of arms coming back. Like, what are the bats going to look like next few weeks? Some of these guys' positive regressions come, but he didn't have a single guy over 40. I mean, that killed him because his arms 244, not great, but not terrible. I mean, 91 Ks in 76 innings is one of the better ratios I've seen this year. But the win-loss thing's always huge. You get a win versus take a loss, 12-point swing. I mean, he goes 2-6, you go 6-1 on the week. That's huge in that regard. Also, because I said going into the week for that game, this is going to be huge for division, but also I thought like manager of the year's sake, because you one of the overachieving teams. I think I would call you the most overachieving team on the year because you're putting up crazy points too. So 200-point win, get a top division to dominating. Just want to give you the regards on that behalf.
Thank you. I'm sorry I skipped you, by the way.
No, you're good.
I'm not great at this hosting stuff. That's yeah.
All game, right? That's what we said.
Yes, Paul and Jab.
Yeah, this game was, I believe, it was close, and then Paul was pretty ahead, and then Jab this weekend, right? Just kind of took over because I didn't look day by day yet for this game. Tough week for Paul. Paul's been the second highest scoring team on the year. I think he still is even after this week. I didn't look, at least going into the week, he was at least by a good margin. You know, tough week, tough day for Skeens today, but also got to give a shout out Jab. 633, great number. Pitching, great week, 66 innings, 18 runs. Can't do the ERA off the top of my head. That's sub 3. Believe, and a lot of the bats starting to turn it up, like Salvador Perez 40. He's been brutal all year. Same with Kyle Tucker, 41-point week. Spencer Steer, just stability and peace in my head. Connor Griffin has just really turned it up, especially in the month of May. Teoscar Hernandez, like as I just scroll up and down this, these are all guys that were underperforming and now really, really stepping up. Like, were these guys washed? Are these guys back? You know, I don't know, week to week type thing. Tough week for Paul, great week for Jab. Not much there. That was a huge win, I think, though, for Jab. Getting right back in the divisional race. A loss there would have been not crazy tough to come back from, but just big momentum that I think Jab really needed. Paul, I think Paul's fine. Yep, you have a down week. He's been great every week of the season, essentially, outside this week, so I wouldn't be panicking too much from him.
Smell. What do you think?
I think I was right about Jab, is what I think. For weeks, I was on this podcast saying that Jab could win every week, every game the rest of the season. I said that Jab's going to make the playoffs. Last week was the first week where I kind of like paused, right? And I was just like, well, fuck, you know, he didn't have that many starts. He was now fishing for starts. I can tell you firsthand, you know, and I said it in Maine earlier, he was trying to get an extra start today. He was trying to get that 12th start. I did send him a trade offer last night. You know, it was after business hours, so that's why I waited till this morning to hit, you know, Jab sent one kind of thing. Yeah, kind of making fun of that a little bit, but it is a pretty funny narrative. But it was funny because it was something I asked in a group chat. I said, "Hey, is there a world where Jab trades me Kyle Tucker if I give him like Trout, Soroka?" And everybody's like, those who responded just were like, "You're an idiot." But I sent it, and he countered, which is very unusual for Jab. Jab does
Very
not
rare.
counter offers unless it's kind of close. But he countered obviously without Tucker in it. So I'm like, all right, well. But then when I declined his counter, he right away he's like, "What do you need for Soroka? I could use that start, blah blah blah." Well, part of the problem was the game's just locked way too early on a Sunday, right? So there was just no time to really talk to get a deal done. But he didn't even need it. I mean, he wins by almost 100. He pulled away today. What Emeric said about the bats, a lot of the bats had get right weeks. Vlad's still struggling. Do I think Vlad is washed? Does anybody think Vlad is washed? If you own him in a league that I'm in with you and you think Vlad's washed, send him to me. Because the dude's not washed. But we keep forgetting that Jab won. He had 633 points. Crochet is on the IL. Screwball's on the IL, and he put up 633 points, right? So do I think Jab has anything to worry about? No, I still don't think Jab has anything to worry about except health and except a couple of the guys aren't doing what they need to do for him. I've already gone on record saying he's going to beat you in 2 weeks, Bracton. So, I mean,
Yeah, all
we're
right.
on record. He's not going to beat you. Next week, I haven't looked to see who he plays, but in 2 weeks, he will beat you.
Yeah,
and Jab in his PM to me, what he said to me is classic Jab. I would love to get an extra start today. I'm not going to blow up my team to do it. And I've said for weeks on this pod, Jab doesn't need to blow up his team. He's got stars. He's got guys that are going to come back, and Bracton doesn't agree with that. Now, talking about Paul, yeah, second highest scoring team. He had a down week. He was the second worst in bats this week, right? I mean, it's just an embarrassment. He didn't even crack 300 for his bats this week, which is crazy for Paul. And his arms were bottom half. He didn't break 250 with his arms. So obviously just a really bad week all around. Did he have any bats really do anything? I'm
Bobby
scrolling.
Witt at 52 and Walker at 46.
Jordan Walker,
Other than
yeah,
that,
and then Brian
fucking
Reynolds was his
Walker.
third, right? So, I mean, just his bats let him down, up and down. Kyle Bradish, 40 points. I mean, we can talk about Kyle Bradish being the best player in baseball.
We will.
Next to Murakami. Bracton, I think if you're going to get a jersey from Fanatics, maybe it should be a Kyle Bradish jersey.
Oh yeah, no way.
But his bullpen's putting up stupid numbers. I mean, Iglesias 30, Miguel 24, Louis Varland 21. So great points for his bullpen. He's doing good things there. But Paul ran into a little bit of what I ran into too, just over managing. Making some decisions. And that's. I'm not sure if it would have made a difference. I didn't Sunday night skipper the heck out of this because it wasn't that close in the end, but I know he's beating himself up. McLean had 39 points on his bench. He had 140 bench points, so that could have made a difference based on matchups. Who he plugged and played. If we went back and was there a path to victory, possibly.
Well, guess what, guys? I'm gonna say it. This is Jab's ceiling. 633
draws time
is what do you call it?
That's his ceiling when he does it. He got that without Screwball and without Crochet.
Yeah. Eighth best in scoring in the league this week is his ceiling. Okay. Paul had the down week of down weeks. He puts up a normal week where he finishes anywhere near the top 5 in scoring. He wins by, well, I guess everybody was clustered together here, but he can win by 20 or 30 points if he just puts up his usual amount. But guess what, guys? You mentioned these names, Emeric. I'm gonna reiterate here. I'm gonna say it again. Hold on. Pulling it up. Sorry. Okay. 57 points from Teoscar Hernandez. He's not going to get 57 Teoscar Hernandez points for the next 3 weeks.
Why not?
Okay? I'm going to say it because he sucks. Spencer Steer, 47 points. Not going to happen again for the next 2 weeks combined. I'll tell you right now. Like,
put your Fanatics money on the line. I will bet you. Real
40,
human money versus
40
your Fanatics money.
40 points for Salvador Perez. I mean, yeah. All these guys popped off at the same time and Paul had a down week. That's it. That's the story here. Yeah, he doesn't want to blow up his team, but the guys that he's relying on didn't do anything again. Ketel Marte, 24 points. Vlad, 29. Like, I mean, you say that Connor Griffin, 26. Like, not anything crazy.
I mean, he's a 6.5 point per game bat in the month of May. Like, he's been balling.
261 pitching points is not good. Like, Paul having the worst pitching points of his season, Paul only lost in pitching by 20. And I think Paul put it in Maine earlier that he lost the weekend by 180 combined. He only put up 47 points this entire weekend, Paul. That's ridiculous, and it's not going to happen again. I don't know who Jab plays next week, but we're gonna get to that. But I'm telling you right now, this is the ceiling. Until these guys come back, until these stud pitchers come back, this is the ceiling. He's got Jack next week. That's going to be a really interesting matchup. I'm telling you right now. You guys are going to pick Jack to lose by multiple hundred. I'm not. I think it's going to be close. We'll see. I mean, yeah, I'm the biggest.
Say this, Bracton. If you and I weren't buddies and we didn't get along like this, I would call this ageism. I would think that you hated Jab because he's an old man like me.
Oh, of course not. I love Jab. None of this is personal towards Jab. I just think that this collection of players is it reminds me. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of it reminds me of the New York Rangers in 2024 when everybody thought the Rangers were going to win the Stanley Cup and they got swept by the Hurricanes or whatever that was, or 5 games of the Hurricanes before even the conference finals. They were exposed and now they're in the basement forever, for at least the foreseeable future for the Rangers. That's what this reminds me of. It's a bunch of fucking guys that is just, it's not going to work. I don't see it. And I wish that Christian Katie was here watching this because he would yell at me for that. But
I think
what do
like
you call
2012 Lakers when I think that when they had like Steve Nash, Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, or whatever that is. It's just a collection of big names that aren't going to, I know it's fantasy and they don't work together as an actual team, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not
2026 Dodgers.
Yeah, or that. Like,
and I thought I was getting my Jab deal done today too. That one because someone asked in Maine when I said that. I offered him last night Michaelis for a 2029 fourth because he had a start.
He's gonna do it.
Then he got moved to bulk relief, and I didn't even like register that until I looked, and I was still down to do it, just get anything for him. And he messaged me after. He's like, "Dude, if the game didn't start, I was gonna do it." He texted me like 2 minutes after.
Unbelievable. That's crazy.
What a bad beat there. Michael's put up 10 points today. I mean, that could have been the difference in his game. I mean, it wasn't if Paul has normal week. So, he's willing to make the move there.
That's unbelievable, man. I don't understand. I mean,
the overarching thing here, the Bracton, last week you put Paul and I to task, like, what's it going to take for us to give up hope on, give up faith on Jab's team? And we said, was Jab not getting to 12 starts? Well, he didn't get to 12 starts, but it wasn't from a lack of trying. He was trying to get
a ball. I got it. Trying to get a starter. Expand those business hours, though, bro. We're on at all different times of the day here. I'm just kidding.
You were at 7 o'clock last night, bro. So let's not talk.
I was up at midnight though. Again, like, we're good. I just took a couple hours. I took a Lewis nap. That's what that's called. Lewis used to go to bed at 7:30 or 8, wake up at 11, and stay up till 5 in the morning. That's what happened. That's a Lewis nap. We're good. But underrated part of this Jab Paul matchup before we move on is I now pick up a win against Paul in our win bet for the year. So I like that. I don't play Paul for a very long time, so the head-to-head won't be a huge factor there, but it's fun just to see another pickup here. But let's go to now, who have we not talked about yet? Let's go to Chad and Scott. I picked Scott to win. I was wrong. It was close, though, for a while. I was looking at it. I think that, what do you call it? I think Chad pulled away. Yeah, Chad pulled away today. 124.75 today. But yeah, Smell, start us off with this one.
Yeah, I mean, Chad's back to being, one of the top scoring teams. Like I said earlier, he was top 3, top 4 week after week after week. And then he had, a season in a couple weeks where he hit the slumps. And this week he bounced back. He didn't quite hit his projections. But a big part of it was Ben Rice returned to being Ben Rice. He got over 50 points from Ben Rice again. He got Alo Lopez, which is just stunning to me that just see Alo Lopez on a team that's not yours, Bracton.
I know,
I
it
feel
sucks. It
it's
makes me mad.
jarring to me. It's jarring. Like I don't like it.
I don't like it
But
either.
he picked up Iovaldi for the start today. Got 42 points out of it, like out of nowhere. Everybody I think had lost faith in Iovaldi. Not Chad. Chad's like old Ranger. Yeah, give him to me. But that said, like Braxton Garrett went negative for him. He had, Cade Smith though, 50 points in relief. I mean, it's amazing to see a guy with 3 innings, 3 in the third innings, and 50 points.
100 points out of the bullpen total.
Right.
Ridiculous.
Mason Miller. I mean, we talk about a lot of teams and having these great bullpens, and we don't talk about Chad's, but he's got the best closer in baseball.
I gave him credit for that one.
Yeah, you have. You're true. But yeah, and the other one too, Yamamoto did not have a Yamamoto week. He had his one start, but only 13 points, which is kind of crazy. As I was looking at the rankings again, as I do, it's like where does the team fall? Chad's bats fell like middle of the road, comparatively, but his pitching was second in the league this season. Second. And it was a really distant second because Hen had 443 points, but Chad's 351 was second. Again, I don't want to go back to Hen, but Hen's pitching almost cleared the second best pitching performance by 100 points this week. It's fucking stupid. Like, it's just insane. I don't understand it, but that's what's happening. But Scott's team, I mean, it's performing, I think, better than what he kind of expected it to at this point. I think, we all picked him to be in the bottom third of the league, and he's putting up some competitive weeks. 617 is not a bad week. It's, again, middle of the road. It's going to win you some weeks. It's going to lose you some weeks. And this week, it would have beaten me. It would have beaten several people. It would have beaten Paul, some other, comparatively quote unquote better teams. But yeah, I mean, he had a rough week. Emmett Sheehan continues to roll though, 34 points. I regret giving that guy up. Grayson Rodriguez and his return start went complete terrorist mode. So he had a lot of points that he could, a lot of negative starts there. But his bats, man, 428 for his bats. That puts Scott like fourth, I think, or no, it puts Scott second, only behind a team that we haven't talked about yet. Tita led the led the league in points for bats this week. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. But when I wrote all this down, when I was doing like about an hour ago, Scott was fourth, and now he got some more points tonight. So now Scott's at 428, which puts him above height, above Cody, and just behind Tita. So Scott's got some good bats. But again, all these guys, 20, 30, 40 points. But a Rosarina, 68 points and counting this week. That's a big week. But Gavin Sheets. How many more? Yeah, how many more 86-point weeks? You're talking about, Braxton, you're talking about Jav's team. And Teoscar's not going to get...
I'm going to be consistent here. Gavin Sheets is ridiculous. That's never going to happen again.
Oh, I thought you said he's ridiculous. He's going to do it again next week.
No,
like he's ridiculous. I'm like, oh, he's a dog. I'm like, oh man.
No, it's ridiculously stupid. I don't understand how that happened. I mean,
4 home runs.
Bailey offered me him in the 30-man at the beginning of the year for Spencer Torkelson, and I laughed at him. I was like, I don't want fucking Gavin Sheets, dude. That guy sucks. But
scored by 87 points this week.
86 points. I don't know what Torque scored. Whatever. He's gone. But I sold my last Torque shares, guys. I'm out. That's it.
But here's what's crazy. When we look at, again, the things in the aggregate, Scott's team 428 in bat points. Chad's 339. Chad had 10 home runs. Scott only had 7. But Scott had 11 stolen bases, so he's just got some speed. I'm trying to see who had all these stolen bases, and nothing's popping out. Which
Gabriel
is crazy.
Moreno, 2 points or 2 stolen bases from a catcher this week.
That's crazy.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. That's
McGonigal had 2. Randy had 3.
Randy had 3.
Yeah, Randy had 3.
Carson Bench had 2.
I love Carson Bench, dude.
Yeah, so I mean, he's he got it done with some random stats, but man, yeah, his bats are for real right now. So it'll be interesting to see how Scott does next week.
Emeric, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you hit a lot of the big guys. I mean, I did not see Gavin Sheets until just now, like when we mentioned before, and I was looking at the team. Like, holy crap, 15 at-bats. Like you said, the bullpen is huge. I mean, getting over 100 points out of your bullpen. You have a great bullpen. You have Mason Miller. When he goes in the game, you're locking in basically 15 points. And yeah, a lot of tough starts for Scots this week. I didn't even see Gray Rod till right now because I didn't look at a ton of the scores going on today. -12. I mean, against the Dodgers, first game back, sevens. You're like, I mean, 2 starts over like 20 points. Great. I mean, it's gonna be tough to win like that, especially when you're going up against Chad, who's 100 from his bullpen and counting from all of his starters. He's got a great team. So huge. I don't know if you said this, like, get right win for Chad. I mean, this was huge. Get to 3-4, back in the division race, about 700 points. Like, all right, this team's legit, and he's got a great farm system behind it too. If he really wants to make any big moves, and division and playoff spots seem kind of open right now, especially on that side. So tough one for Scott when you put up over 400 bat points and still lose by 70 when your staff does that. But huge week for Chad. Hats off. That's a big one.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've been ragging on Chad because of the pitching, and I just have said that I'm not a huge Chad pitching fan, right? But I mean, he's gone out and addressed it, and I had to give him some props here. Like Luis Castillo's a good ad. Dylan Cease at 37 points. That was a recent acquisition. We talked about you guys talked about Eovaldi with 42. Connolly Early's a good young pitcher. That's 4. Um, Leiter he loves, and I like him too. That's 5. And then Yamamoto 6. Like Joey Cantillo had 39 in a 2-start week. That's a solid 7 or 8 or whatever you want to put him at. Like there's some, and then the bullpen's obviously elite. So like my biggest gripe with him was pitching, and that doesn't seem to be an issue anymore. And I mean the bats, a lot of my former bats like fucking Young Ho Lee had 40 points. How many times did I move him back and forth all summer or all winter? Sorry. Otto Lopez, it stings, but I mean that's great. And then Ben Rice, 51 points from a catcher. Like it's ridiculous. I think that Chad has drastically improved his team in the last 2-3 weeks. That has changed my kind of outlook on him moving
Let me
forward.
ask you though,
Like,
Bracton, because you bring up an interesting point talking about because you have been down on his pitching, right? And you just mentioned
yeah,
some good pitchers, right? 351 is his best pitching results over the past 4 or 5 weeks, but his except for one outlier, right? He had a 138-point week. Remove that, his lowest pitching performance in the past 5 weeks is 295. He's got 2 at around 330, and now this one at 350. So what's not to like?
no,
His pitching's
that's
been
what I'm
doing it all
saying now.
season.
But I
It's
get
been doing it all
well.
season, except for 1 week.
I didn't like those guys that he had. I guess at the time, like I didn't think that it was consistent. I think that the guys that he's brought in, like the Ceases and the Castillos and the Evaldis and everybody like that, to complement the 3 or 4 guys I always did give him credit for. I think he's turned himself into a really good staff here. So I'm giving him.
Castillo did today. Did he pitch?
I don't
No,
think
He
he
did.
did pitch today.
He did. He was supposed to piggyback, right?
I think that might be tomorrow because I saw it was always what's his name, Kirby slated versus I think Miller might be slated tomorrow.
Oh, Bryce Miller's tomorrow. Yeah, that's right.
No, I'm giving him some props here because I like what he's done with the pitching group, and then the bullpen don't. I've always said he has the best bullpen. I said that week 1 when Cody was on here, and he was saying what like you like his bullpen over? Yeah, this bullpen's legit. I think it's pretty unreal. So yeah, I mean to touch on Scott's like we said, I mean the 86 from Gavin Sheets is wild, 68 from Randy. Like I mean, Seiya Suzuki only had 10 points this week. That kind of sucks. Like, we were praising him as, like, the best Chicago Cub hitter ever for the last
He
couple of
is
weeks. And,
right. It's got years.
yeah. Yeah, well, it's nothing from nothing there. And it's just, I don't know. Carson Benj, we were kind of dumping on for a little bit, but 47, that's a big get right. I mean, and Nico Horner, 24, that's low by his standards. I mean, I don't know what the Cubs did this week. Like, did they just not have a good week at all? Like wins loss record. I haven't been paying attention, but I guess with those guys performing as bad as they did, they must not have done well and in the actual standings last week. Oh, they lost to the White Sox today. Okay, yeah. Point is, there are a couple guys here on Scott's team. Okay, here's another one. Andrew Painter, right? We've been ragging on Andrew Painter a lot the last couple weeks, but 17 from him this week, kind of maybe he's settling in. That's a huge thing if he is, because I know Scott's very high on him and needs him to be big for him moving forward. And if that's what he's getting, then that's good. And Emmett Sheehan we were talking about, like there's pieces here. I've always said there's pieces here with Scott, but I'm giving major props to Chad here for the work he's done in the last couple of weeks. I thought his trade with Ben Rice with you was big win for him. I said that originally, Smell. It's not to rag on you or anything, but I think I love that for him. And then he made that one Tatis deal with Cody in the offseason that turned that into that. So good GMing from Chad the last couple of weeks. I give him credit. So all right, we're going to move on to our last matchup this week. The matchup of the week.
We got
660. Oh, we do?
Cody's matchup, too.
Oh, my fault. I completely missed that. I was only looking at half my screen. Okay, then we're going to save the Tita matchup for last. Cody versus John Height. 749, 598 in favor of Cody. A huge statement win for Cody. Let's have Emeric start us off. Thank you for correcting me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, gotcha.
Yeah.
Other Cody's, Smell likes talking about momentum. I mean, the Bowling Green Hot Rods field have a lot of momentum right now. The last few weeks, actually got outscored bat-wise as I'm looking now. Trying to see. Wow, Shohei Ohtani, 103. Hello, sir. And Juan Soto, good for John Height, at least seeing the 63. But with Cody, it's just 30s and 40s everywhere. Nick Hurt, 66. Drake Baldwin, C1. I mean, it's been absolutely ridiculous. He won this game this week, 337 arm points, 94 Ks, 79 innings, but also just a tough week for John Height with the arms. I looked, he's got Nick next week, I believe. That'll be huge. Got a lot of arms hurt. Need some time to get those guys back. But with his bats, he can win any given week. But then also with his arms right now, that's the narrative. He could also lose any given week. But also, I think it's more of just Cody putting up 749, 750. Great week. We raved all offseason about how good Cody's team looks, how great that infield is. For my end specifically, I look and I'm like, oh my God, like the name value, the talent there. He's got Churio back last week. It was a great team, having a great week. And John Height's underperformed a little with the arms, but I think I give more props to Cody, and that's more the story in my opinion. 750's phenomenal week.
Yeah, and he got 750 with multiple very bad pitching performances, like Imai with -8, Manoah with -17. What do you call it? Those really stand out as just not good. But I mean,
cancel it out.
Walker Buehler 22. That was a trade for me, and we got him for a worse, and he's been really consistent ever since he got to Cody's team. Davis Martin doesn't let up, 37 points. Messick, new golden arm and 30 man for me, 35 for him this week. Brian Wu bounced back, 38. Like bullpen puts up what 60 or 70, 60. Yeah, like that's good, and like everything's clicking for Cody. You got a good couple streams. Brett Beatty hit a bomb for him in a stream start. Kurtz and Baldwin are the best catcher first base young duo in baseball right now, I think. Travis Bazana balled. Like, there isn't a negative thing to say about Cody's team, and it's finally coming together here. The number one, number two consensus ratings in the offseason are finally starting to show up here, which I wish I got them a little earlier. But John Height, 103 points from Ohtani is ridiculous. Out of his 598, 103 came from him. Literally a fifth of his points, almost a sixth of his points came from one guy. It's ridiculous and wild, but a lot of negative pitching performances, man. We gotta get something done over here. I keep calling for a Soto trade every week. Soto had 63 this week. His trade value is back to where you'd think it would be. It's not struggling anymore. He's not hurt. So maybe that's the move there. I don't know, but something's got to get done. He knows it. So if anything, this is going to be a kick in the ass for him. He doesn't like to lose, especially not to Cody by this much. I think we'll see something. So, Emeric, what about you? Smell, my bad. Fuck. I'm terrible tonight, guys. You guys gotta bear
Can we
with
get a
me.
real host here, please?
Do you guys want to take? Somebody want to take over? I can't do this.
So the matchup went exactly how I said it was going to go last week on pod. I'm not saying anything you guys haven't already said. Height, unless he addressed his arms, was going to have a tough week. He put up almost 6 arm points. He and I would have been in a grind tonight. I would have beaten him by 8. Actually, is the game even over? It might even be only by 2 by the time the Mariners game is over because it hasn't gone final yet. So once Kirby loses 6, but height. I said I offered. I mean, I sent some offers earlier today to a couple teams. And I said I'm feeling maybe a little squirrely. I wanted to kind of jump on a big deal, and I talked to Connor, and I was offering 3 pretty big pieces. I mean, we're talking like guys averaging 6.5 to 7.5 points per game, multiple of them for one guy. And so I might be dropping down on height to see if he wants to do something for Soto. I've got some arms that might be interesting for him. We'll see if we can get something done. But yeah, I mean, Cody's team, 2 weeks now, curse removed. It looks like I'm still waiting for the real human monies to hit my account, and it hasn't. But that's okay. I face him again, so if it takes him winning until he faces me again and loses, and I put the curse back on him, so be it. That's just what'll have to happen. But Cody's team did what Cody's team's supposed to do. Emeric was right. It's Otani's best week, I think, of the season. Or, I mean, one of the best weeks for him for the season. Juan Soto, one of his best weeks of the season. We talked on the pod last week how these guys just weren't performing. Well, they did. So they bounced back. So it'll be interesting to see. I don't know who Height plays next week, but his bats continue to improve every week. He got over 400 this week in bats for the first time in the past 5-6 weeks. But his pitching is going to keep dragging him down. It's going to put him in a lot of really close matchups that he doesn't want to be in.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I've been calling for a big deal from John Hype for a minute here, so maybe this is
drop it.
You should do it now. You can do that live deal on the pod that we've always talked about. So. Well, all right. Now we're gonna get to the Tita Smell matchup. Or Tita, fuck, dude, I can't. Tita
you just don't want to talk about
matchup.
Connor ever. We said last week.
No, I know, and I've literally had that in my mind before I was reading the matchup. I was like, oh, good, we're going to talk about Connor here because I literally apologized for him last time. It's just, God, man, somebody shut me up. Emeric, go ahead and talk about that.
And I can't wait for that Sod Poodles lawsuit on the LM meeting pod. I mean, it's going to feed families with how the poor guy. And I mean, speaking of poor guy, I mean, this was a battle really all week. I feel like this was not exactly within like 50 because I think like Tita had some starts, so he went up a decent amount on Saturday maybe. But it was close all week, like percentage points wise. Connor battled back at the end of today when I was looking, but nail biter the whole time. And to me, it's Tita's bats, like we mentioned earlier, and it's also just Tita being Tita. I mean, something as simple as took what's his name, Spencer Miles from me yesterday. He put up 17, I believe, and let me see. You guys can double check if you want. Put up 17. If Connor takes him instead, I mean, Connor wins. It's simple as that. I'm not blaming Connor for not taking him, but it's just Tita getting these extra points, getting ahead of it before his guys, whether it's through trade or the waiver wire, throwing balls to the walls for anything. And 456 hitting points out of Tita. That's a crazy week. Tough one for Connor. 633, not a bad week. Left some points out there. Didn't have his complete best stuff, I'd say, but out to you, 458. I mean, picking up Lyle from Hen. I don't know if that was Monday or if that was the end of last week, but I mean, dude, freaking Lyle was hitting a home run every day, it felt like. And Blade picked up off waivers about a week ago. That dude's been red hot since the Reds brought him up. Full big bats. I mean, crazy week for Tita. And that's a great win. That really narrows our division. I think you and I were talking about the other day, Smell, that if this happened, I mean, it's basically a game apart for everyone in the division outside of Cody and Hen. Hey, good for league competitive narratives as well. So, crazy week.
Yeah.
Smell, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're right on. I mean, so talk about Connor's team. I mean, I went back and listened to the pod last week. I talked a fair amount about Connor last week, so I'm not going to be too apologetic for that. But Tita's team, we don't talk about a lot, partially because his team is never the same, right? He doesn't have the same guys week to week to week. But Lyle putting up 79 points for Connor. Carroll put up 79 points. So if you're going to tell me that Dalen Lyle's going to be competitive and match Corbin Carroll on a weekly basis, I'm going to take that bet 10 times out of 10 and lose this one time. But that's just it's a tough pill to swallow if you're Connor. But the big one is Jackson Merrill. I know he only had 13 at bats, but -7 in those 13 at bats, 7 strikeouts, didn't register a hit all week for Connor. And I know that's Connor's boy. It's like one of his favorite players in baseball. So it's kind of hard to see that. He did make the move to get Freddie Freeman, which I thought was kind of savvy. His first base situation with Aranda or Jonathan Aranda being his first baseman. He's been all right. He's been putting up decent numbers, but I thought that was a really good move by Connor to go out and get a first baseman like Freddie Freeman. No, he's not going to be around for 10 more years, but he's going to help Connor be competitive and make the playoffs this year. Moving down to the pitching, though, Adrian Hauser got 46 on a 2-start week. Steven Kolek 40 on a 2-start week. He's just getting some really good pitching performances out of guys that not a lot of people want, or that not a lot of people put a lot of faith in. His bullpen probably needs a little help. I think he only got 38 points out of his bullpen this week. Soriano is really kind of crashed back down to earth and became the Soriano that we've always seen. 5 1/3 innings, 6 runs. The best worst pitcher or the worst best pitcher in baseball. But so it's kind of interesting to see if he is able to bounce back. But Ryan Nelson still continues to pitch well. I'm excited to see what Connor does. I mean, seeing him make a move to get a guy like Freddie Freeman, I don't feel like he gave up a lot of equity. He gave up a lot of pieces, but nothing that's going to affect him for winning this season. You know what I mean? He didn't have to give up one of his main bats or main pitchers to get a deal like that done. And for Tita, again, Tita's going to be Tita. Tita had 4 more bad starts or 4 more bad appearances, or used 4 more bats, however you want to put it, than what Connor did. Pitching wise, he used like 6 more pitchers than what Connor did. So Tita's just out there. I don't know where Tita finds it, but he knows every bulk like pitcher before anybody else does. Like he's like wired into every Major League Baseball like clubhouse and knows like, hey, this guy's gonna be a bulk pitcher in 7 days. Pick him up now. And somehow Tita has that, like he gets all these bulk guys and is able to use some of them or trade them and get other pieces. So great week for Tita. #1 team in bats, bat points, which is unreal. Pitching still problematic, will continue to be, but it was a fun matchup. The one week I didn't pick Tita to win. I picked Tita to win week after week after week, and I picked Connor, and then Tita's like, "Oh, fuck you, Smell."
Tita had 16 home runs.
I was just gonna say
this
that
week.
16
home runs
crazy.
this week. Unreal, dude.
A number that high.
But hey, you know what? I said I was going to talk about Connor's team. I'm going to talk about Connor's team. You mentioned the good pitching. I don't understand why it was Jekyll and Hyde this week. You're talking about the pitching performances from the guys that nobody wants. How about the guys that people do want, letting them down? Like DeGrom, 7 points. That's it, but he went 6 innings. Like crazy. -6 for Mike Burrows, who's been relatively solid this year. Like either one of those guys do what they're supposed to do, and it's maybe Connor flips the script here.
3 yesterday too, last night.
Yeah, Robbie Ray, I don't know if you just said that. Was that what you said? I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, I was talking Soriano.
Soriano too. Robbie Ray -3. Just sad, man. Like that is there. I don't know. 248 with pitching. We kind of were talking about the revised pitching benchmark we wanted to see was like 250, and that's right there. I mean, with all those negative points. So, like we said about Tita, I mean, is it going to be 456 again next week when he plays me? I fucking hope not. I think the pitching's about what we can expect. He just traded me Bayo. Who I'm hoping will go back to that bulk role because I don't want him as a starting pitcher because he went negative again today. But look at my guy Cade Cavalli with 33 points, man. I love that. I love that dude. Tita has some good ones. Tita's got Henderson. He's good. Cavalli's good. Hancock, hopefully they don't take him out of the rotation. He's good. Like Tita has 4 or 5.
Him out of the rotation.
I hope not. I love watching him.
They took Castillo out already, so. I said it last week. Yeah, I really thought that change was coming, and it came to fruition.
Well, I'd made that trade with him with Sean Burke and Hancock because I thought that they would take him out regardless because Castillo's got the name in the draw and everything. But good for them on not doing that. So Tita has a good one there. Anthony Volpe 15 points in 3 games.
Oh,
maybe he's back. Maybe I sold too early. I was just pissed because
walk merchant Anthony Volpe.
Dude, I watched his first game when he played the Orioles and he was awful. And I was just like, "Fuck this! I'm not dealing with this."
Volpe was only 15 today, by the way.
Oh, that was 15 today.
Yeah, that was only a day. Yeah, he went
Oh,
negative
wow.
15. Because I was saying he had 2 hits today and 2 walks. Yeah,
Oh,
3 RBI.
fuck. I forgot to talk about Kyle Bradish, dude. Shit. It's so irrelevant that I forgot to talk about him. That's crazy. It just reminded me that I watched that game, and I just keep seeing Kyle Bradish's name pop up in Maine for no reason. It's just ridiculous. Good luck. I mean, moving forward with Kyle Bradish, man. He's gonna go -4 next week. Watch, we'll see. But yeah, I
Or he's
don't
gonna get
think
hurt.
or he's gonna get hurt. Yeah. Um, I don't know. I don't have much else to add to this. You guys mentioned the T to 456 bat points is ridiculous, but yeah, I mean, Connor's gonna bounce back. I don't know who he plays. We're gonna have a really fun time this next week's predictions, I think. But we're making good time now. We're at exactly an hour here, heading into our deals segment. What was the first day of deals? Somebody help me out.
Day the 11th.
May the 11th. Thank you.
While you're
Scroll.
pulling them up too, just to do like a recap, like I did last week before we hopped on the pod. Last week we had 27 trades. This week we had 23. What's really interesting, last week on Sunday there was 8 trades, and this week there was 1. And I think that was indicative of the fact that there was just no close matchups really, except for really the Tita and Connor one. But last week Tita had 15 of the 27 trades. Guess how many he had this week? Out of 23,
Not many.
Evan?
2.
13.
Oh,
13.
Wow.
okay. I didn't see that coming.
Over half again.
Wow. Well, the first trade we're going to talk about is the one between you and me, Smell, in the morning on May 11th. I get Zach Gallen, Anthony Volpe, Luis Robert, and Tanner McDougal. You get Max Meyer, Pete Fairbanks, and Ezekiel Tovar. I'll start here. I thought Zach Gallen wasn't a terrorist, and I was wrong. I thought that Anthony Volpe wasn't a terrorist, and I was wrong. Luis Robert is still on IL, and hopefully he comes back and produces some trade value because nobody wants him right now. And McDougal did play an instrumental role in a bigger trade I made earlier or later in the week, so not completely upset. But remind me, how did Max Meyer do this week? I didn't pay attention. Did he?
He
I think he did put up like 20 or something.
Yeah, 24-point game. Yeah, 5 and
Yeah,
2/3, gave up 4
yeah,
runs. So wouldn't have gotten a quality start either way, but
a
still.
good pitching start for a bunch of terrorists. So I lost that deal.
Yeah,
I
and
gambled.
out
I
away
gambled
from
on
a
Gallen.
31-point day. 1 out away
Yeah.
from a quality start. It's tough. 9 Ks and 5 thirds.
I gambled on him and I was wrong. So that summarizes that deal. What do you want to add to that?
No, I mean, for me, yeah, I mean, I like Max Meyer. I think that he is. He's a little bit of a terrorist, right? I mean, he's not consistent, but I think I mean, if you look back, look at all his recent games, right? 9 games this year, 24 this week, 13, 45, 20, 23, 13, 20, 16, and 12. 12 points is his floor this season for his
That's
worst game.
great. That's not a
Yeah.
terrorist at all. That's
Well, I mean, he's been a terrorist, so like health wise and performance wise in the past. Like, I mean, he's got 9 games. He started 9 times this season. Last year, he only had 12. The year before that, only 11. So he's averaging almost 21 points per game now. Do I think he keeps it up? I think he probably settles out a little bit below 20, which I'll still take every day of the week. Trading Volpe, I was a little bit upset with myself because I traded him and he was called up right away afterwards. And I kept saying
that's
how
my luck.
I wasn't going to trade Volpe until he was called up, and then I was going to just extort all kinds of value from you. But getting Max Meyer, I think, was the value I needed. And then Pete Fairbanks, I kind of like just snuck him in there because you had mentioned him in another deal after we did the pod last week. And you're like, oh, I'll throw in Pete Fairbanks. And I'm like, all right, he's not valuing him. He's a good closer on one of the worst teams in baseball. I need another closer. Let me just see if I can squeeze him in here. I was happy to get rid of Gallen. Tanner McDougal, like you said, we'll talk about that trade in a little bit, but I was not disappointed to get rid of him. Luis Robert, I've never been a big Luis Robert fan, but
Nobody is. I am. That's it.
yeah, and Tovar, I said before, I think he's decent, but man, he hasn't proven it this year. He sucks.
He's
He's
terrible.
he's
He's
one of the worst
borderline
hitters in baseball.
droppable. Like,
Yeah, I mean, and I almost dropped him a couple times this week. I'm not gonna lie. If somebody
yeah,
offered me a worse one, I would take it in a heartbeat, or a worse Odie, I would take it.
yeah.
But historically, I've liked him. I mean, he was a 5.5 point bat before, and I'm like, all right, well, maybe he can get back there, but he's just not doing it. But Max Meyer was the key piece, and Fairbanks was another key piece for me.
Yeah. Emeric, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't think I said anything to you guys when you guys made this, like, to either you on the side, like what I thought. I mean, to me, it's not a crazy trade one way or the other. I think Max Meyer is best player in the deal, so I think Smell won. I also kind of like Pete Fairbanks, but I also like the Marlins a lot. Shout out Jack. Him and I were talking about the Marlins a lot in the preseason, and you were able to send Luis Robert to the only person in the league that probably likes him. So
That's it.
that's a W. It's funny. Hen and I the other day were like listing a bunch of Bracton guys, like when we were texting each other, like TJ Rumfield become like a Bracton guy.
I
And I don't
love
know.
TJ Rumfield, dude. He's awesome. I got him for Luis Heel. It's a
Yeah, so
one of the best
that
trades in
was
my
a
life.
bad miss out of us for getting Luis Robert, because obviously Volpe's one of those just random Bracton guys. Yeah, good deal.
Not a Paul
You know,
Heyman
it's a
guys,
gamble
Bracton
Allen.
guys.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah. Well, we'll move on to the next deal here. Is Chad gets Nathan Eovaldi. John Haidt gets 3 terrorists: Jansen Junk, Dustin May, Griffin Canning. Volume for John Haidt. Needs arms, gets arms, gives up a better arm. I don't think there's much to say other than it might have probably won Chad his matchup if he had to start those 3 guys. I don't know how they did this week, but I'd be willing to bet none of them got to 43 or whatever Evaldi did in his one start that helped Chad get the win. So
he was close to negative.
oh, Jansen Junk went close to negative. Yeah, Emeric, you can add thoughts on that one.
Yeah, since I have it up, yeah, he went -8 on the 15th. So yeah, I don't know how the other 2 guys did, but I remember me and like a bunch of people kind of like put the bar in and stuff like that. I was texting both on the side. I thought it made sense both ways, honestly. Like I texted you, I was like, I could see why they're saying that. I mean, 3 arms for 1. To me, Griffin Canning is basically a worse. Dustin May, I love Dustin May, but like I don't know, he just looks so washed. To me, he's basically a worse. Like I love Dustin May who's coming up. I should say. I mean, current day, I don't have much belief. And Jansen Junk, like he's solid. But when did the Snelling news come out that he's hurt? Because I was always the belief, like, I don't know if he holds a spot in rotation the whole year. I think he'd go backwards.
I don't remember.
And Aldi basically a 20 point per game guy. I know he's older. It's like you move these 3 guys. If you have the ability to move 3 arms, get a very solid one. Not every day you could get basically a 20+ point per game arm like that. So I thought it made sense both ways, especially with John Height's injuries. The arms get 3 for 1. Like, why not? And Chad, I mean, get his guy a Ranger. So, yep, I understood it both ways.
Smell, go ahead.
Well, I think what's crazy, I mean, I think if I'm not mistaken, I'd have to look at the timestamps and shit, but I think he traded for Evaldi like right after it was announced that he was scratched or right before or something, right? It was like real close, like right in that. I'm like, well, that sucks. I mean, if you just give 3, for a guy that might not pitch again for a couple of weeks or months, and then I remember Chad on Tuesday or Wednesday, like, no, he's scheduled to come back on Sunday, so it wasn't that bad. I mean, Evaldi, 42, 47, and 42 his last 3 starts. I mean, 2 of them against the Yankees and 1 against the Astros. So, I mean, it's like he's given up 1 run in his past 22 innings. I mean, the guy's an old pitcher, but he's a dog and gets it done. I mean, he's doing well and good for Chad. It really helped him out. Height needed that arm. I mean, I know he needs the volume of arms. He needs the 3, but he also needs a guy that's going to give him 42 points.
Yeah. Well, we'll move on to the next one here. Chad gets Otto Lopez, Rip. Tita gets Owen Casey, Xavier Nyans, and Enrique Bradfield. It could just be me, guys, but I've never heard of Xavier Nyans. Is that a worst? No.
He's young. No, I mean, Tita loves him. Because I mean, every time I've had him, Tita like is up my butt to get him.
Well, that would explain why I thought he was a worst, and I added him to a deal, and I got rejected with no counter. So okay,
yeah, no,
he's
a young power hitting third baseman in the system for Houston. He was like the 21st pick in the draft. He's like
my bad.
He's basically what I was when I was his age, 6'4", 210 pounds. I mean, the dude's a hoss. I mean,
fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, Bradfield was dropped, I think, this week, so I'm gonna say he's a worst. But I don't know. I don't like that. I think I got more for Lopez than Tita did there. It's a rare Tita sells for less than he paid for moment there. Do you guys have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I'm just not a huge Casey guy. I just don't think he's really shown the steps in his game this year. I think the K rate being exactly the same, I think he's had like almost like a 40% K rate. That scares me. How much longer his minor league eligibility, then you got to earn the roster spot on him. And Otto Lopez has been balling. I mean, I thought it was a great move by Chad. He's got a bunch of specs. Gets a guy to play middle infield. See the kind of, I guess, tough ability to get a second baseman some points of the year. And Otto Lopez keeps producing. Yeah, I think he had like a 40-point week this week when we were looking at Jazz team. So, yeah, I thought that was a great move for him. And, maybe it was one of the pieces in helping him getting the
Yeah,
elevation on points wise. So,
for sure. Smell, you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'll say is, I mean, Tito, if Nans wasn't in this deal, Tito would have never done it. I mean, that was the guy that he was targeting, I'm sure, without me talking to him. He likes Owen Casey too. I mean, I know he's always shopping him, but as a former Cub, I was never a big Casey believer. I was I was happy that they got rid of him. But yeah, as much as I'm not a huge believer in Alo Lopez, the dude just keeps producing, and it's kind of an interesting deal. The Tito opened up a roster spot, built up some depth, and gave up a good middle infielder and still put up the most bat points of anybody in the league.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. Well, quickly, I traded Zach Gallen for Noah Cameron 1-for-1. I swapped terrorists. One
yeah,
terrorist is young.
Yeah.
One terrorist is 5 years younger than the other one, and actually put up 15 points this week on my bench. So I'll
Did a
take
lot for
that.
Saddam Hussein, yeah.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that anymore. But Jack got paid for Chris Bassett. I just want to quickly mention that. Sean Manaea, Enrique Bradfield, and a 4th-round pick for Chris Bassett. Pretty good deal for Jack, yeah.
yeah, I mean, I sold him for a worse, like, probably 4 days earlier. And I was like, oh, he went for basically 2 assets. I mean, I like Manaea if you throw him in the SP spot. I mean, like, I wouldn't really call him
It's
an asset.
ridiculous. Yeah, well, we're not going to talk about that much more. I just wanted to mention the Jack deal there. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong here. Snelling got hurt for Teeter, right? It was before this Paul trade that.
Yes, I made the trade.
Okay.
It was known at that point in time.
All right. Tita gets J.R. Ritchie, Jamison Tyon, El Paso 2027 first, 2029 third. Paul gets Robbie Snelling. Guys, Paul gave up a lot there, I think, for a guy who's not going to pitch for a while, it looks like. So somebody wanted to start us off with that one. I don't know that Paul got a great deal there.
I love Robbie Snelling. I mean, the guy has at every level in the minors, and before. I mean, he's pitched and he's put up numbers. I think he's a top 10 starter when he's healthy and at his prime. I'm not saying this year, next year. I'm saying in his prime, he's going to be a top 10 starting pitcher in the major leagues. I like J.R. Ritchie a lot too. Jameson Talon, he's putting up points this season. He's putting up, he's one of those guys is again underrated. Like everybody's a guy. He's old. Nobody really likes him that much. And the first star with the first star. I mean, my first. I mean, depending on the week for 2027, it looks like it could be maybe the number 1 pick. So that might be a consolation bracket winner, or hopefully I make the playoffs and it's not. But and then a 3rd-round pick is whatever. 3rd-round pick in 2029. Who cares? So I feel like it was a lot. If Snelling becomes the pitcher that I think Snelling is going to become, I don't think it is. But on the other hand, I do like J.R. Ritchie, and yeah, it's kind of interesting. I didn't look at the points again. If we went back and reverse engineered this and did the Sunday night skipper, Talon had -12, so actually that would have hurt Paul. So Paul helped himself by getting rid of him. It would have made, because I was trying to think of could he have won with those points, and Richie had 14, so net 2 points. Didn't hurt him this week, and he got somebody that he can stash that, in my opinion, is going to be a top 10 fantasy or top 10 starting pitcher in his prime.
Yeah, I think that's really high praise, but Emeric, you can add to that.
Yeah, in complete side note, I was just randomly looking. Dustin May, because we were talking about the trade earlier, I was randomly thinking, how did they actually do? He put up 16 this week, and Griffin Canning put up a good -18. So for whatever that trade counts, I was curious.
Yeah, so that's a matchup decider.
Yeah, so when I actually first saw this, I actually didn't know the Snelling news. I was like, oh man, I thought could have got a little more for what he just got called up and what he's worth. And Snelling, like Smell mentioned, has been a dog at AAA and obviously top 50 prospect. I don't think anyone thought Tita was going to be holding Snelling all year in the minors. And he got Tyon, who's, I think, you could lock him in for 16, 17, 18 points per game for the season. Got a first. She, moved later on. J.R. Ritchie, good, solid pitcher prospect. Once hold on and we can move him. I thought it was a good deal. And Paul, he's got a good minor league system. I love Snelling. Him and I were talking about Snelling. We got pretty close, probably a few hours after this. Didn't make it happen. But yeah, at the time I thought it was a little bit of an underpayment, but then once I heard about the injury, okay, this makes more sense.
Uh-oh.
That way T was going to hold Snelling anyway, so gotta go.
Uh-oh.
Oh, we back?
There we go. We're back.
There we go.
Sorry.
But yeah, I don't know if I got cut out in there in between, but yeah, I thought that was a good deal.
See, this is what I'm weirded out about. That's the exact kind of deal that I wanted to get for Cade Horton, right? And I feel like Cade Horton is way better than Robbie Snelling long term. No, you disagree?
He's out too. I don't know.
I mean, Snelling's going to be out for a while too, right? Isn't he getting Tommy John too?
I think Snelling's ceiling is higher. So they haven't said he's having Tommy John yet. He could. I mean, it's likely within the next year that he has Tommy John, because whenever they have that, was it the elbow strain or the forearm strain, statistics show within a year that they typically go and have it. So I'd rather him, if I own Snelling, I'd want him just to have it now. So you're coming back.
I mean, still, I think J.R. Ritchie's just as good. No,
Richie's good, but he's not just as good.
Yeah,
I mean, Taillon's a good pitcher too. A first round
35.
pick, which we're talking about consolation bracket possibly. Like, I don't know. I think Tita did great there, and that's what I would want to get for, if I was looking to deal Cade Horton 1-for-1, which we'll talk about that in a minute. But I want to briefly touch on some of these deals involving that 2027 first, where Tita traded Matthew Liberatore and that first and Johnny Farmello for Aaron Nola, a second, and Cole Carrick. Smell briefly touch on this one. And then your subsequent one, Carmen Molzinski, Sugano, a second and a fourth, to trade Emeric that first round pick. Both of you guys can kind of touch on that.
Yeah, so real quick, for me, Farmello over Carrick. 1-for-1, easy. I love Farmello. Carrick's a good prospect, but I love Farmello. Liberatore, I mean, compared to Nola, preseason, Nola clears right now. Nola, he can't carry Liberatore's jock right now. And then and then obviously a first round pick for a third round in 2029, that clears. So for me, I felt like I won each step of that trade.
Yeah, and then if you want to talk about your haul for the pick you traded with him.
Yeah, and I mean, Sugano sucks. I mean, I really didn't want him, but I mean, I was really at that point just I might need the extra starts. It was at that point Wednesday where I was still in the matchup. I'm like, shit, I might need a starter. Mladzinski got moved to bulk relief right afterwards. I was looking at this, and there's still not full clarity on this. I mean, because I've asked Paul, I asked you, I've asked a lot of people. I think we need to get some clarity from the LMs, and so I'm gonna put it out there for you, Bracton, Cody.
All right, let's see if I can answer this real quick. I must have missed this conversation. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, is the consolation bracket assigning all of the picks besides, or is it just the first?
No, it's the first round. It's the first round. It's the first round only.
Oh,
first round only.
Yes. No.
See that? So that was what we didn't know. Is it the first round only? Is it every round? Because if it's the first round only, I
wrote my proposal to them because I made this part, and I wrote my proposal to them as it would be the first round only. It would kind of go back to the way that because I don't know, nobody pays attention to the NHL draft besides me, but the first round is decided by the lottery, and then the second through seventh is order of standings. And that was kind of my vision for it. But I don't know if that's what we
That's what I was operating under. Yeah, I mean, that was the assumption I was operating under, because I asked Paul about it, and Paul's like, your first, if you make the playoffs, is going to be really close to Nick's second. You're talking 4 or 5 picks separation, right? So I'm like, all right, cool. So if I make the playoffs and my pick isn't a consolation bracket assigned number 1 pick or something, which is a lot of this right now with how my team's performing this year, if I make the playoffs, that's going to be bottom third of the draft.
If for some reason it is not written that way, we should probably change it to that.
And I think that's how it's understood by Paul. Yeah, Paul's the one who told me, he's like, that Nick's second round pick could be 4 or 5 picks away from my first round pick, and if that works out, then I mean, I moved down 4 or 5 slots, get a couple pitchers and another 4th round next. I mean, that I'll do that every time. But there's a lot of variability right now in my 1st round pick next year. It could be a constellation bracket.
If Paul was saying that, then we'll see. But I'm pretty sure that makes sense where we're doing it by order of finish. But go ahead, Emeric, you can touch on.
Okay, this will be very interesting. I got to find the chat because I believe I asked this in the off season, and I was under the impression it was the other way. If I could find evidence, then I would send that because I
please do, because
regardless, it's not that deep. I just want to know how it is. I mean, I'm not going to ask like.
All right, hold on. While you're talking, I'm gonna look.
I like I said, I forget if I asked you Paul in the LM. In a side chat because I was just going to scroll see if I could find that. Unless I just had it mixed up, but yeah, I thought it was gonna be like a mid. 2nd round pick, so I was like, Sudano, I burned the roster spot. I just didn't want him. I got some from the 4th round pick, basically a worst. I was like, all right, Seamlot, I got some guys come back, like Bryce Miller come back at the end of the week. Alf Boyle probably come back in a week and a half. So I was like, really don't need him. I think I still have like 11 or 12 starters. Like, all right, get the 1st round pick, keep consuming them. Our division's super tough. There's a very good shot that Smell does make playoffs, and I just have another basically lottery ticket of, because I think I have mine, yours, I think I have Tita's maybe. So that, 3 teams in our division. I think I might have Cody's too. So figuring 2 of those not make playoffs, 2 little bids. And then the trade before that, I totally agree with everything Smell was saying. Farmelo Carrick, me, was basically a wash. Noah Liberatore, I did not think was the gap of a 2027 first to a second. I think that was 2029 second. So same wave there.
Okay. I'm putting it in an LM chat real quick. But yeah, we'll start the next deal conversation here. Hold on, I'm sorry. I want to get that question answered. Oh, it's me. Okay. I get Dansby Swanson and Gregory Soto. Tita gets Cole Young and Anthony Volpe. Emeric texted me W trade after this happened. My goal was to kind of get a win now piece for Cole Young, so I viewed it as Dansby for Cole Young straight up, and then a closer for Volpe, which at the time I thought I really needed. And if anybody wants to comment on that while I get your answer, you guys.
I was going to say, you said what I told you basically. I was like, Volpe.
Yeah.
Swanson, MLB arm, like I think positive regression is coming for him in that regard. I think we did it was like 5 point per game bat or something like that. He'll end the season mid-5. So that's you nailed what I thought.
Well, and Bracton and I were talking about Swanson earlier today. I'm like, I'm not a big Swanson fan. I think Soto is fine. Again, the Pirates are not getting a lot of save opportunities, but for Volpe, I like Cole Young. I've always liked Cole Young, but it'll be interesting to see how he finishes out the season.
Yeah, so that leads us to my big trade of the week here. Cade Horton, Reese Olson, and Tanner McDougal to Nick for Luke Keeschel. Depending on who you ask, I've always said that I'm not a huge Keeschel fan, but I was looking at the outlook of my team here, and I'm like, yeah, I traded Otto Lopez. I don't really have a second baseman I'm comfortable with. I don't like Cole Young, which is why I just traded him in that deal. So I kind of wanted my potential long-term second baseman, or at least get him and trade him for one, because I know other people like him. So Cade Horton's not going to pitch for 2 years. I have 2 years to get Cade Horton back. I literally told Nick that. I'm like, I'm going to be coming back for him at some point. Tanner McDougal is a prospect. I trade all my prospects. That didn't really matter to me. But I think Reese Olson is back this year. And producing with him later, not anytime soon, but
he's out for the whole season, it says.
He is?
Yeah.
We were talking about it when I made the Olsen deal, and whoever was on with me were saying that there's a chance he could pitch this year. I don't know.
It says he had, this is back in February, a right shoulder labral repair that will keep him out for the entire 26th season.
All right, well then whoever I was talking to about that, I guess we were wrong, but whatever. I put Keeschel at second base. I put J.J. Weatherhold at shortstop. I have Murakami at third base and T.J. Rumfield at first. I'm happy with my infield. And then Jeffers is balling. So my infield right now is exactly the way I want it for now. So, Smell, what do you think?
I think if these pitchers are healthy, obviously this deal never happens. I mean, you never trade.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, Horton, I don't think he's a top 10 starter like at his peak, but I think he's top 30 probably. He's going to be a good starter, but like you say, he's 2 years away. Reese Olson's going to be a year and a half away still. Maybe he'll be getting back into the grooves this time next year, and maybe by summer next year he's pitching. But I've always liked Reese Olson too. And McDougal's another really good arm on a really bad team, but he might be having surgery too. So you might be talking about three guys who all could be top 50 starting pitchers, but that are all a year and a half to 2 years away for a second baseman that a lot of people, myself included, like a lot. And to be very frank, I missed that you even got Keyshaw. I don't know how I missed it. And so, I could drop in with you and we could start talking about a Brandon Lau for Keyshaw and, kind of deal possibly
I
if
don't
you're
know about
interested.
that. Yeah,
Brandon Lau's a dog, man.
I know he's a dog, but I don't want to add an older second baseman. Like I want the kind
It's
of
like
my young.
30. What are you
Yeah,
talking about?
it's a 7-year age gap.
Ageism. It's the jab conversation all over again, man.
All right.
Ageism. I'm telling
Well, Emeric, do you want to add to that? And then I have an answer for you guys on the consolation thing.
Are we on the Kate Horton one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, because I didn't talk to you about this one. I did not understand this one for you, to be honest with you, especially because I asked you.
All right, here, talk to me. We can.
Yeah, well, all right. Because I texted you. I was just curious in your value on Olsen. Because I was like, all right, didn't the IR spot open up? Like, how much? I don't know how you really valued Olsen. So, because I asked you, it was like, how many worse for Olsen? Didn't have to be worse. I was curious, like, how you really viewed him. Because I was like, okay, like, 4 worse, 5 worse, like, who'd you really want? And you made it seem like, oh, he was locked in forever. Like,
I was planning on it. I didn't really
And the fact
think
you moved him and Kate Horton, fucking Luke Keyshaw, I did not understand at all. I did not get that.
All right, well, I
Where
mean,
did this
look.
Keyshaw fandom come up? They moved 2 of these quote unquote your guys. I did not understand that. I also probably didn't understand a little sense because I would have liked just one of those guys. But now I'm like, all right, it makes perfect sense. Let me say also too, I love this for Nick. Nick's not trying to win now. He has 2 very good arms for fucking Luke Keyshaw, who maybe at his best is a mid 5.5 point per game guy. That might be a little harsh. I know he had a great last 2 days, but I did not understand this one, to be totally honest with you.
Well,
I thought
look.
and getting a bat, and you're like, oh, I got these guys on IR, and you can take the prospect too. Like, who gives?
All right, fine. All right. When I traded for JJ Weatherhold, he was a 5-point bat. You know that?
But it's
like
JJ Weatherhold and Luke Keyshaw. To me,
no, this is exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to find another JJ Weatherhold here.
Just because he's a young guy and averages 5 points per game is not
yeah. He might be. I don't know. I think that I would much rather have Bazana or Holiday or anybody, and I tried to get Bazana or Holiday after making that trade with Keyshaw, and they said they'd need both of them. Said they'd need more, but maybe that's a discussion down the road. What?
Look at this baseball savant that you're trying to get me reeled in.
I have never once looked at Baseball Savant in my life.
Only Harry knows ball.
I've stopped using Harry Knows Ball. I haven't looked at Harry Knows Ball in a while either.
Listen, I can't think of a good second baseman on the top of my head that I'd be like, okay, like this makes sense. But Luke Keyshaw, I'm also not a huge Luke Keyshaw guy. Going in the year, I was kind of like, and now I'm kind of believing.
Hey, some people love him, some people hate him. We'll see.
I did not think of you as a guy who loves him so much you give up Kate Horton and Reese Olson for.
They're not gonna. I mean, Kate Horton's not gonna pitch for 2 years.
Nick, if you're this deep in, I saw that. I was like, oh God, what a great deal.
If he was healthy, I would have never done that, man. Ever.
Yeah, no shit. But just with all the trading you've done back and forth for Kate Horton, and then
I'll get him back.
Do all that, just send him away for Luke Keyshaw.
Nick won't give him up.
Yeah, I don't blame him. There's no reason for him to. If it's perfect for a situation, I thought, me too. I'm like, all right, I'm like rebuild and retool, like try to be competitive. I mean, I don't think I'm a playoff team. I could send a guy like that. And I see Nick gets him for fucking Luke Keyshaw. I was like, this guy.
All right.
Man. I don't know if I texted him on the side or not, but that's what I thought.
We got to speed this up a little bit because we're almost at the hour 30. So last deal we're going to talk about here. I know that some people made some other ones, but Jack gets Ava Arquette, Angel Genow, Johnny King, Josh Hammond, Josh Owens. Connor gets Freddie Freeman. We touched on it earlier. I like Jonathan Aranda. I think that Connor has 2 legitimate first basemen in this league, which is never an issue. It's a good problem to have. I think if he sells Aranda, he gets probably half of that back and lessens up the cost of that a little bit. I like Arquette and Genow a lot, and Johnny King's been getting some buzz. I've seen a lot of positive Johnny King tweets for some reason. But, I think that this opens up the door for an Aranda trade, which could get interesting if he decides to flip him for a pitcher or more prospects to kind of lessen that cost a little bit. But I see the reasoning for both people, and I like it. So, Emeric, go ahead on this
Yeah,
one.
I think you hit the nail at the end. I saw that and I was like, all right, that's a trade. I didn't think crazy one way or the other. I like I would say Arquette was in that right. I just X out of tap. I was looking at something else. Yeah, I like Arquette. Five aspects rather or assets for Freddie Freeman I thought was solid, but also Connor. He's got a bunch of prospects. If you lose 5 prospects, who literally gives a shit? Like he has another probably 35 and another 50 picks in this draft. I was looking. He has the whole like second and third and fourth round. Owns like 30 of the 42 picks or something crazy. So he's going to have more coming in anyway. And he's getting Freddie Freeman solid. You're going to get over 6 points per game for the rest of the season. And especially in a division that's tough like ours, you got to put the chips in a little, get a little more competitive. So I thought it made sense. And I thought for Jack, if he's really pushing the narrative that 2027 rubber duckies, I was going to say grasshoppers. That's what's always been 2027 grasshoppers. Then this made sense. Got some good guys in that, so thought it was a good deal both ways. Totally saw the vision.
All right, Smell.
Yeah, no, it made sense both ways. I touched on this during the Connor matchup from last week. He went out and got a stud first baseman who's going to put up another great season or two. Long term, obviously, this is a huge win for Jack, but in the short term for Connor, who's going for it this season, it's a huge win for him for this season. I do like Arquette too. I like Janelle as well. Johnny King, I haven't been seeing because I'm not on Twitter, so it makes sense. I don't see those tweets, but he didn't give up nobody. And I dropped in on Freddie Freeman several times with Jack, and I just was never able to meet the price. Connor was able to meet the price. I also at the time had like 4 first basemen because I still had Ben Rice and everybody else at that point. So I thought it was a good deal for both. It made sense.
All right. Well, we're going to move on to our final part here. We're making some good time. We got 29 minutes to talk about the I botched again. Matchups for next week here. We'll start with you.
Hold on. Give me
What's
a
up?
quick second. I've went in chat on March 6th, 2026.
Oh,
The
God.
consolation tourney for the first pick, is that only for round 1? Or
Oh, yeah, I
4?
didn't give my answer to that.
Get a response. This says sets the order for rounds 1 to 4.
And that's what Paul said to me in LM chat. I forgot to mention that because
okay,
I just.
Yeah, I was gonna
Okay.
say we can make it up.
Well, I was under the same impression that you were, Smell, and I fucked that up, and it's my bad. Don't be mad at Paul.
It was a deal over a second round pick. It's not that deep. Just so we're all on the same page, obviously,
All right. Well, for everyone listening to this, I hope that it got cleared up, and that's my apologies if I was pulling it differently than Paul and Cody were. So I apologize.
I've got words for Paul now.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
I'm playing the Tides.
Just in time. Well, I guess we can segue into that. I was going to talk about Smell's matchup first. We can talk about the now cursed Norfolk Tides versus the Emeric Fayetteville Woodpeckers. Go ahead, Emeric.
Oh, this is simple. Genuinely not even like pushing the narratives. I was going to pick myself this game. I feel like I've done pretty good, like even just in general going match and thinking I'm gonna win, thinking I'm gonna lose. I think I've maybe done like 2 wrong in my head where I thought I was going to go one way or the other. Like I went in the Connor matchup, I was like, I think I could beat Connor. I didn't think I'd beat John Height. I thought I would beat Tita. Those were the ones I mixed up, and those are the ones I got right. I do think I beat Paul this week. I believe he's got some guys hurt. I mean, mainly he's just now cursed. I mean, how you gonna win after you got the? Oh, I think it's gonna be a close game. I think we'll probably be within 40 points. Only have to go against Paul Skeens once. I think he has like Kyra Montero on a 2-star week. Nothing crazy because I was looking at that yesterday. I have Will Warren on a 2-star week. Very happy about that. So I went into week 5 with Paul, being like, okay, I hope I get split. I gotta the chips in for myself this week, and I gotta make the moves. I mean, it was simple as last time. The one move with Schultens that won in the week. I gotta be more aggressive this week if I want to be a playoff team and get it. So I think it's gonna be a close game, but I'm giving myself the nod.
I'm gonna pick you too because I have the bet with Paul. But now he's cursed, so yeah, he's fucked. It's over. Shit. Smell, go ahead.
I think it's going to come down to your arms, Emeric. I'm just looking at like the bat totals, and I mean, you guys know I like to look at like the averages and see how teams are trending and things like that. I mean, Paul obviously came off a really down bat week. I mean, it's the first time he's been under 300 points. Past 3 weeks he's been over 400. So if his arms, or if his bats come back and have a 400-point week, your bats have been averaging, man, you were at 570 one week and then 400, and then you settled into the mid 300s. So I think, he might have your bats by 40, 50 points, but I think your arms could have him at least pretty. I mean, it's going to be close. It's going to be within 50 points, I think. But since I just cursed Paul, he's going to lose probably by 100.
Well, hey, the Kyle Bradish start this week is against the first place Tampa Bay
Negative
Rays.
35.
So yeah, it's coming. He's gonna go
I don't
negative
know.
on
I
that
think you
one.
might have to send him over to Tita's way this week against the Larks for narrative sakes.
Oh please, that would be wonderful. I hope that he does that. I hope that he does that. Yeah. We'll talk about that since you brought it up. Tita's projected to beat me right now, but he also has 13 starts, and neither of my Mizio 2 starts are counting yet for some reason. I don't know why. They were in yesterday, and now they're not. But I'm picking myself to win. I'm on a heater, guys, and I don't think I'm slowing down. I have a good schedule for the next few weeks here, as far as teams I'm confident in. I have a lot of good 2 starts this week. I have McLean on a 2 start. I have Schultz on a 2 start. I should have Mizzy on a 2 start. Like, it's going to be interesting, but I don't think Tita's going to get 450 bat points again, whatever that was. And I'm confident in my pitching against his. So he's going to talk a lot of shit in Maine. He's going to use all 10 of his ads. He's going to make a lot of deals. It's going to be a pain in the ass, but I'm ready for it. I'm excited. And we'll see what happens, but I'm very confident. So, Smell, what do you think?
So here's the problem. I think when I pick Tita, he likes to lose, and when I pick against Tita, he likes to win. So Bracton, if I pick you to win, that means I'm basically handing it to Tita, and if I pick Tita, I'm basically giving it to you. But I look like an asshole picking against you on the pod. But just looking at again, team versus team. Your arm's obviously clear. It's not even close. I mean, Tita knows his arms are. I mean, I love Henderson. He's built up some good arms that he's actually kept now for a couple of weeks. So, shout out to Tita for hanging on to a couple of those guys. But Bracton, I mean, you need your bats to recover because I mean, like I said, bottom third in bats this week, but top third or
I left a
bottom
lot
3
of
and top
Jacob
3.
Marcy points on the bench, and a lot of my guys got hurt mid starts too, so that might have contributed a little bit, but still not a huge excuse.
Yeah,
So
I mean, all things being fair, I'm gonna say I'm gonna pick you to win, but that again, every time I pick against Tita, it backfires. So I'm sorry in advance.
All right, Emeric.
All right. Here's the thing. When you go in playing Tita, this is no knock on Tita. This is honestly a compliment, if anything. You go in the matchup, you look at the roster. You don't know what it's going to look like the rest of the week. But objectively speaking, you think, like, okay, I got more talent on paper. You know he's had more at-bats and more innings. It's because, you think it should be a win. But you're not convinced it's a win until Sunday night.
Oh, no shot. I know. I'm not.
It's wet. That being said, I feel I have no reason to pick against the Larks. I think you've been the top half scoring every single week. Your team is red hot. You're managing the hell out of your team. Like I
Except
said,
the week I lost to Smell, yeah. But
it's not even that. Not even that you're just finding ways to win. Like, you're just putting up points every week. That's what I look for, because you could look for the regression wins and losses with points for, points allowed. Your guy's just consistent. I trust your arms. His bats are going to come down a little bit. Obviously, 456. You're not going to replicate that. I think Tita covers 75 easily, but I don't know if he covers 50 this week. I'm going to take you just off of Tita's big week.
Hey, another thing, y'all. If I'm gonna just say this now, like, if I want to be a playoff team, I got to win this game. Like, if I'm heading into week 8 or week 9, 6-2, that just blows away my expectations, and we're on a good path for the rest of the year. But I gotta get this done
this week. This is a huge week for him too. At 3-4 and Clark team, like he could beat you. Like, no one would be like very shocked.
No, yeah, no one would be shocked. And then I'm gonna beat Jab next week, and we'll be rolling hopefully 7-2, headed into Nick. Like, that could be something. We'll see. All right, we're gonna talk about Smell's matchup now against Chad. This is one of the ones I have circled as one of the more interesting ones for this week. You need this one, Smell. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I'm literally, as we're talking right now, setting my lineup right now. Chad and I both have 13 starts in for this week, and he's projected for 710. I'm projected for 673. So that makes me a little bit nervous. I mean, I've praised Chad's team on every single podcast, talking about how he's a top 3, top 4 scoring team. My team has been, and I said this in Maine, my team has been bipolar as all fucking shit. You have a great week and a down week. At least I got to 600 this week, but man, it wasn't even looking like I was going to get there. My 2-start weeks, as I'm looking at it, hold on, I just clicked on the wrong thing. I've got a couple really good 2-start weeks I like. I mean, I've got Matt Gore tomorrow going against in Colorado and Max Meyer going against Atlanta. I'm not a big fan of pitching against Atlanta, but I'm a big fan of Max Meyer. So they're going to be 2 starts for me. And then on Tuesday, I also have a couple guys that are going to be 2 starts for me. I can't remember who they are off the top of my head. It is Foster Griffin, who I really expect to bounce back against the Mets, and Matthew Liberatore against Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh's offense we know is kind of up and down. So it's going to be interesting to see. I don't want. I'm not going to pick against myself. I did against 10 basically. I'm like it's hard to, but it's 10. But I think Chad and I think it's going to be a very close matchup. Um, I think it's going to be within probably 25 to 30 points. And I think it's going to come down to Sunday. And as of right now, next Sunday, I would have. Oh, 1 second. Next Sunday, I just had it. Matt Gore against the Angels, Matthew Liberatore against the Reds, and Foster Griffin against Atlanta. So it could be really interesting having those 3 pitchers going on Sunday. I have not looked at Chad's, but I will pick mine in a nail biter.
All right, Emeric.
Like everyone's objective matchup for the week, probably just from the big name perspective, is Cody and Hen. But this is like my toughest matchup to pick. I think this is gonna be the closest matchup. I would love to say the Chihuahuas. I just think Chad's team just getting on a roll. I just think that bullpen being so automatic, and you could push the momentum narrative too. I think this is gonna be very close. I think this is definitely a Sunday night scraper. I think you guys both, I'd say hit like 700. I just think Chad's team's been doing it more consistently. I got to give him the edge.
Definitely.
So, but yeah, this is my matchup of the week, like pretty easily by far. I know the big names, that's what everyone's gonna draw their attention to, but this one to me is definitely by far the toughest to pick, rather.
Well, this is the Ben Rice revenge game.
The big trade revenge.
Yeah, Smell. It'd be really funny if I picked Chad after all of these weeks of not picking him the one week that you play him and you're on the pod. But I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna pick you. I think that I don't know why. I'm not even gonna try to analyze it. I just am feeling it. I don't know. I don't know.
One thing I will say that's really interesting, because we've talked about this on pod before with Paul, Yamamoto never gets 2 starts. He's right now projected to start Monday and Sunday, which is very unusual for Yamamoto to get a 2-start week. So I don't know if the Dodgers are on for 7 days this week, and if that's why. But yeah, that could hurt Sunday.
I got a gut feeling. I don't know what it is, but we'll see.
Also, I want to mention, you talked about the trade, so I was like, oh, let me look. Dylan Cease, as of now, is on a 2-star week as well. So
dude,
if he has Yamamoto for 2 starts and Cease for 2, let's see. Now they have an off day Thursday at Dodgers, so we'll see. Because if you get 4 starts out of them, I don't know what yours are looking like. I didn't much going in, so maybe you got a nice 2-star week or 2. But I just looked Cease because the trade got mentioned. That's a
man.
Bracton,
I got to flip, dude. I'm sorry. This is fuck 4 starts from Yamamoto and Cease. That could be 100 points between the 4 of them, probably. Who knows?
That's probably their line is 100. I feel like that's
I mean,
about 20-ish, 25.
Damn. I'm gonna be rooting for you, Smell. We'll see. I don't know. All right. Well, we'll move on to your matchup, Emeric, against Paul. Did we already talk about it? I'm so retarded. As soon as I said it, I'm like, wait, we already talked about it. Why am I going out of order, dude? I told myself, go in order. Don't fuck this up, but we're fucking it up. Jab and Jack. All right. I'm picking Jack. Anybody wants to dispute that, go ahead.
We both want to
Emeric.
dispute that.
Yes. All right, Emeric,
I
go
will
ahead.
not be. Listen, this will be Emeric's almost upset of the week. I think Jack pulls this off.
Hey!
I'm not. Listen, you know I will go against Bracton. That trade, I twist my head off. I love Jack. There's nothing to do with that. When I look at Jack's team, like he's got the guys. I just don't know if he's willing to get all those innings and the players and the at bats, the day to day. Like Jab's got the least amount of innings in the league, and I don't know if I said this last time I was on. Like especially a lot of his starters, because I played him the week before and I looked at his matchup this week with his arms. I mean, the last 2 weeks he's thrown to like below like a 280 ERA with his guys. Like his pitchers are producing, but the pitching point battle he's not even winning by that much because he's is he going to get 12 starts? Like you know against me he got 9. I know he was 11 this week, close enough. I don't know what his starts look like. I haven't looked at the exact matchup numbers wise. He has 10 in right now. I'm giving Jack the edge. I think his bats bounce back. I mean, if they don't bounce back, that'd be crazy after putting 212 up. And yeah, I'm going. That's gonna be my upset. The Rubber Ducks. I don't know if I said
Let's get it.
but I am siding with the Rubber Ducks.
Oh, Smell. You better rip us.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't see what you guys. I mean, Jack's. What is he? The lowest scoring team or second lowest scoring team of the season?
I think Jab might be right
That's
above.
Jab.
Let's see.
Yeah,
Rubber Ducks are second lowest scoring team.
And
yeah,
Jab's right above him. So
yeah. And Jab's had more points scored against him. Meanwhile, one's 4-3. I'm going to pick Jab. I mean, again, Jab's team has the third lowest scoring, third lowest scoring team, but the talent, we've talked about it on every single podcast. The talent's starting to produce. It's not going to stop producing. If Vlad has a normal week, and just all he needs to do is to have a normal week. I mean, he's consistently in the upper 300s in bad points, except for 1 week. His arms are struggling a little bit because of, his aces are on the IR. But I mean, that's both teams. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Jeb.
All right.
See there, that's where I side with Bracton. I really don't think his arms are struggling. I feel like a lot of his arms had great weeks last week.
That's what I'm saying.
He was a below average team, and he had a bunch of big weeks. Like outside of like Vlad, I mean, Ketel Marte didn't have a great week. I mean, Nick Gonzalez is just Nick Gonzalez, but every other bat over it. I mean, Griffin probably was about at his average, slightly below. I mean, but a lot of other guys overachieved, and he wasn't even top half scoring team. I'm with Bracton with that narrative.
Yeah, he got the best supporting cast points he's ever going to get this week.
Like he didn't have a negative. I don't think he had a negative start in the week. He had 21 out of Young in 2 starts. It looks like 27 out of Sale, 27 out of Prelip, 45 out of Grant Holmes in 2 starts, 37 out of Gray. I mean, 1 out of Flaherty in 2 starts. I mean, he's just been bad all year though. Chase Burns 40 in 1 start and Tanner Beebe 9 in 1 start. Like, where's a bad start there outside of like Flaherty and
It's not that he's that bad start, but his aces are hurt. Crochet, his ball, he's getting points. He was middle of the road. He was 7th in points for bats this week. He was 7th in points for arms this week. Jack was far and away dead last in bat points. But Paul beat him by almost by what 74, 78 points, and that was the delta from 13th to 14th. Jack's bats are just not doing it, and Jack's arms were worse than Jab's this week too. Yeah, I don't know. Yak's going away.
All right. John Height versus Nick. John Height versus Nick. What's the line here? 200?
John Height's had back-to-back terrible pitching outings. I feel like he hasn't done that all year. I feel like he's always bounced back pretty strong after the.
I'm going to pick him to win by 150.
I think he definitely covers.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Height's going to win. His bats are better. Nick's bats are improving every week, but Height still needs some pitching, man. If Nick somehow gets a couple pitchers to pop off to support the guys that he has, Nick could win this. But he has to go out and make some deals for, if he wants to win now. He said he wasn't going to go 0-20. He said he was going to surprise somebody. Is this the week that he does it against a team
that would
like
be
Height?
Wonderful for division narratives.
That'd be crazy. I've said I want to come on here and pick Nick 1 week. I can't do it against John Knight. Nothing to do in front of John Knight. I just think he's going to have a big week this week and bounce back.
I already know what Bracton will say, but who are you going to pick Nick to beat? Bracton's going to say Jab. I mean,
Jab.
Yeah, Yeah, I don't know. It'll be fun to see. Hey, Nick's gonna have I mean, he's had some crazy sweats going to the weekend. It's gonna
He
be crazy
does.
when he's beating someone on a Saturday by like 30 points and people are really scrambling. They're moving 5 worse to get a bulk opener so they don't lose a Nick or something crazy like that. But
Well, and that's the thing. Nick was close to making some moves already when he was in one of those close weekend matchups. He was looking to buy,
yeah,
so he's not willing to make a move to win a week. Man, if this, I'm not picking him to win. I think Height's going to win, but man, how fun would that be to be on the pod next week where Nick
Oh,
came back and
I'd be thrilled, especially if I beat Tita and we pick up a 2-game lead in division. And you beat Chad, and like,
Bracton's always got to make it about himself, man.
well, that's what it is. I mean, he and I are
you and
fighting
Jack
for
will be coming up
division.
when Jack beats Jab, so that too.
Well, yeah, but
I
I
mean,
mean,
Jack could go win some games and not worry about it because he does. Jack doesn't even have his first pick anyway next year, right? I mean, it doesn't matter. But
no, he does. He's one of his.
Yeah,
oh, does
He's
he?
one of the few
got
teams that
back. I
does.
forgot what the last
Okay,
Yeah,
but is Jack going to win the consolation bracket? Probably
maybe
not.
if he gets all his help back, who knows? I don't
Yeah,
know.
but Height
All
wins.
right,
Yeah.
we have 10 minutes to talk about the last two here. We'll go with the Connor versus Scott matchup. This is another one I kind of have circled for close. I think Connor's going to pull it out, though. I believe in him, and I mean, it's not that. I think that those pitchers that we mentioned, the good ones that underperformed last week, I don't think that happens 2 weeks in a row. I think that he'll get a rebound week and he'll use the new acquisition Freddie Freeman and get a win here against Scott. Emeric, do you agree?
Yeah, I'm just looking at. He might have. Is Mitch Keller on a 2-star week? Yes, Mitch Keller. I think is the only noted name. I have Robbie Ray on the Amarillo side. Noted 2-star weeks. Yeah, no disrespect Scott, and the bat's definitely coming down this week. I think Connor wins by 150. I think his team has a
Oh,
big bounce back week. Connor's team, I think, has been really good all year long. And after last week, I think he's had another strong week. I think this is a 700 plus point week for Connor. Very happy to put some fire in, or I guess, gas in his engine. Saying this, I mean, Jazz Chisholm's got to wake up at some point, right? I hate the guy's a Yankee fan. Like he's the
fucking
worst.
guy. Yeah, I
I mean,
know.
like he's objectively should be a good fantasy player with like his stolen bases and his pop. And Miguel Vargas has been insane all year long. He's got a lot of 6, 7 point per game bats in his lineup, and the arms will. I think Soriano bounce back this week, and he gets some good starts out of these other guys. Like Kolek's been really good his last 3 starts he's came in. I think it's like a 700, 550. And not a crazy bad week from Scott. I think Connor goes balls to the wall this week and has a huge week.
All right, Smell.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take Connor as well. I mean, it burned me picking him against Tita, but overall, I mean, the reason why I do it is because Connor's bats have been the most consistent week in, week out. What they're scoring compared to, I mean, everybody else has had a lot of variance. Connor just hasn't had a ton of variance in his bat producing. His arms, though, like you said, he hasn't had back-to-back bad weeks. He had 248 this week. So we were talking earlier, you're saying like about what the new metric, the new threshold should be, 350 for bats. I think 250 for arms is like the fair threshold based on this week. I mean, half the teams were above 250, half the teams were below 250, half
No,
the
that's
teams were
what I
above
mean.
350.
I said 250
So
for arms. Yeah.
yeah, so his, but he has had back to back bad pitching weeks where he's in the 120s in back to back weeks. So if that happens and Scott catches one of those weeks, then Scott has a chance to upset. But I think Connor is, he can typically rely on about 250 from his arms. He can rely comfortably on 375 to 400 from his bats. Scott, I don't think can rely on those types of numbers. So I don't think it's going to be a 150 point win necessarily, but I do think Connor wins.
Any idea where I'm looking at? This surprised me. Do you know where Connor is in arm points on the season amongst all teams?
Middle.
For the whole season,
8, 7,
I
8.
don't. But
But what would you guess? I'm saying because I
I'm
would know.
I'm guessing bottom half based on those 2
7
weeks
or
being in
8.
the 120s.
So 10th is that the one you say 10th? What's the other one say?
8.
I mean, I'd say bottom half. So
How about 5th?
Oh.
Only behind Hen,
Ah.
you, Norfolk, and Chad. That goes him, Cody, Rubber Ducks. If I'm looking at this correctly, yeah.
All right.
It surprised me too. I would have thought like probably 8 to 10 as well. I mean, I probably would have literally said 8 to 10 anywhere around that. and which is scary because I think his arms could have some positive regression coming, especially over these last few weeks. And
well, we'll see.
Well, last week he had 315 from his arms. So I mean, you take that, you balance that out with a 123, and now they balance out.
Before,
So
when I was playing him, he put up like 140 or something like that. So,
yeah.
Good for
All right, we got 6 minutes left to talk about the matchup of the week here with Cody and Hen. This is the heavyweight battle we've been waiting for. Cody's now probably back here. What do we think? Somebody start us. Smell start us.
Hen wins going away. I mean, Hen cleared him this week by almost 100 points. I mean, until somebody can beat Hen, I'm not going to pick anybody to beat him. I just don't know that I see it. Something went wrong. Now all my scores are gone from this week, but for now, yeah, I mean, Hen's doing it week in, week out. I mean, his pitching is getting anywhere between 350 and 450 a week. His bats are getting, I don't know, his worst bat week, he got 390. And we look at Cody's bats are averaging around 400, 410, which is a great number, but it's not what Hen's numbers are doing. I mean, Hen's about 410, 420 in his bats on average. I think, he did that 531 week. Cody's arms the past 2 weeks have lit it up, but the 3 weeks before that were trash. Hen's arms have been 453, 356, and 443 the past 3 weeks. How do you pick against that?
You just can't, and I just won't. When you said heavyweight fight one, you made me think like a UFC boxing analogy. To me, this is like McGregor Khabib. It's a big name.
Wow.
I want you to believe it's a huge one. Honors the past. You think of Cody, and I think of the preseason, all the hype. It just hasn't been that. Khabib dominates everyone, and that's all Hen's been doing. Hen has been dominating everyone. He's gonna dominate him all 4 rounds like Khabib did, made him tap out. The gap from Hen in first to Paul in second is the same gap in points from Paul in second to Jack in 13. I mean, there's just no reason to think anything else is gonna happen besides that. There's no knock at Cody. It's just saying I don't see. I'm not gonna pick Hen to lose until I see it. What do they say in the Polar Express? Seeing is believing, and I haven't seen anything remotely close to for me. I'm gonna say Hen by 100. Why not? If you do that every week, you probably are. What are we? 8 weeks in, you're probably 7-1 at least. I know you were probably close within that 100. You might have been within like 80 or something. But yeah, Hen by 100. Until I see otherwise, I will not be fading Hen. Cody's team's on a roll, and well last few weeks. But like I said, Khabib makes. What does Khabib say? Oh my god, I forget what he freaking says. But
I don't know. Well, you know what? I believed in Conor in that fight. I bet on Conor in that fight. And I'm going to bet on Conor in this fight. I'm going to pick Cody to win because I agree with Smell last week that Hen is going to have a down week. But guess what? The down week can't happen against this team. Otherwise, it's over. So if there's a down week and he finishes in the low 700s, which is by his standard is down, I think Cody can finish in the mid 700s, mid high 700s, maybe even 8, depending on some of these guys he has. He's got somebody just came back for him, or no, he's got Colt Emerson up now, who I think is going to have a good immediate impact. You can get Ernie Clement out of his fucking lineup. The guy sucks, but I mean, dude, it's going to be crazy. I think it's going to be close no matter what. And, I like your Conor Khabib thing because I was pulling for Conor in that one, man. And that's how I feel about this. I'm if there's a team that's going to do it, it's Cody. Otherwise, Hen's not going to lose for a while. I don't think. So
I don't know.
I'm picking him now.
I don't know. You know what he's going to do? I looked it up. Smish. He's going to smish.
Oh, yeah, smish.
Smish.
SMEESH. Yeah, I got it. Yep.
Yeah, can't do it. Philly's got the Reds and Guardians this week. Nothing scary. That's a big one for him with all the Philly stars. I was like, maybe they play the Dodgers, something big. No, that ain't scary. That's
right.
3 points.
Well, we have about 2 minutes left here. Anyone want to do final thoughts? Smell real quick.
Yeah, the only thought that I have is that we're 7 weeks in, and we have 10 out of 14 teams that are 4-3 or 3-4. We have. Congratulations to you, Bracton and the Larks. You're the only team that is besides Hen that's not in that quagmire. And on the bottom, we have Scott and Nick, which is what we kind of projected preseason, right? We were saying they were probably two of the bottom tier teams, and that's vetted out. We said in the preseason that there's going to be a lot of parity. There's going to be a lot of close games. There's going to be a lot of close matchups. That it's a lot of teams are fighting for 6 playoff spots. That's what we have right now. We've got 10 teams as of right now fighting for 4 playoffs. Well, yeah, 10 teams fighting for 4 playoff spots.
League's in a
So
great
it's
spot for sure. Under a minute, Emeric, real quick.
I got nothing crazy. I feel like the same kind of storylines and narratives been kind of pumped out the whole year long. The hen dogs smashing everyone, and the Larks surprising people, balling out. Sounds, spoiling people's weeks now and then. Let's see how it keeps rolling. We're crazy about halfway through the season at the 1/3 mark here, and let's have a week. Let's have some closer games this week, right?
Yeah, I agree. And
first.
well, I wanted to just say quickly, good luck to Tita this week. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and good luck to everybody. Hope you all have a good week. We'll see you next week.